Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Aussie Formula Racing Season 6, Round 18 here from Sochi in Russia, famously host for the 2014 Winter Olympics. And we're coming towards the pointy end of the season here in AFR. Let's come around this 5.8 kilometre circuit, 18 turns, 2 DRS zones. A little bit of history at this track. So last season had a number of highlights that we'll go through. Here, turn 2, we had a battle between Potsy, Charlie and Sid. Charlie getting tagged just a little bit by Potsy, forcing Sid to go into the runoff area and go through that little twisty chicane and to rejoin the track safely. Poly Pepsi, turn 9, the same race, discovered just how low grip this track can be. It is an easy one-stop, soft to medium, but doesn't mean that you're always going to have a grippy circuit. As you can see, he's trying to get out of the way of those cars off the racing line. And as well, turn 13, Pacey and Matsoy, teammates this season. Last season wasn't the case, and they came together at the end of that long straight, the end of the DRS zone. And Matsoy just really struggling to get back into control of that car. Nearly colliding with someone as he rejoined the racing line. Turn 14 as well, in the opening lap, Apollo Pepsi ran into the back of Geordie's McLaren. Can see a lot of impact, a lot of battling on that opening lap at Sochi, but it does tend to get a bit processional sometimes, but hopefully see a bit of action tonight. And I'm joined in the commentary box by Seb himself. Welcome back. How are you this evening?
I'm very good, Gus. How are you yourself?
Very good, thank you. So, the championship could be decided tonight. Mikau in a very strong position. He's having a few connection issues this evening, so hopefully we're not robbed of a decent fight. Jump on board with Poly Pepsi, who's always the first driver out for a fast lap, and tonight is no different. Some information ready for you all. We'll run
up before you go ahead.
Oh, yep.
Dry racing quality. So
wonderful. Alrighty, so between qualifying and the race, we will go through the permutations of how exactly Mikau can win the championship tonight. But we'll come to that in due course as Apollo Pepsi comes around the final corner, and we'll start our first flying lap. So goes through turn 1, which isn't really a corner in these cars, just really a kink in the straight. Just past that very long pit exit into the line on the side there, comes up to the turn 2. A bit of a tricky corner, very easy to invalidate on the exit curve there, but he does it nicely. Goes through turn 3, very long, sweeping left-hander will kill that front right tyre. And he comes into turn 4, pretty tidy line, but he has just extended just that little bit, and that is going to be the story of this qualifying session. It's going to be so easy for the drivers to exceed those track limits, just slightly getting all 4 tyres outside that white line that defines the track, and he has ruined this lap.
yeah, it's the nature of the circuit. Obviously tarmac surrounds all these walls and the track limits itself, so it's very enticing to go wide. It doesn't really give you a great bearing of where the track limits are. Lots of fast corners here, 4th, 5th, 6th gears as well, but that last sector is normally where you find the most time gained with those tricky 13, 14 traction zones and braking zones, and then you have that really tough 15, 16. Also to mention, cycle's been around a while now for 2020, but these curbs are a lot more elevated than they used to be, so there's people who still aren't used to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be a bit tricky.
Just in the chat, we've got Ali, who, fun fact, is Big Al's brother. He's just asked, is this on PC? Yes, it is on PC. Unfortunately, no, you cannot join. You're a Tier 2 driver, so you'll just have to wait till the end of the season and we'll see what happens. Once we get the new game, F1 2021 coming out next month, so it's pretty close. We don't have many races to go, as we've got Jackie setting 131.147, first driver to come across the line to set a time. We've got a couple of racing points about to come across the line as well. We're going to jump on board with Sandeezy, who's gone provisional pole with a 130.3. And it looks like he's going to give a tow to his teammate Mikau, who's been able to rejoin the lobby and is getting a very nice tow down this straight. Great teamwork there between the 2 racing point drivers. Jackie getting out of the way. Mikau, not sure he actually needed the tow. He's very, very quick with single lap pace. As Fever, his rival, sets a 129.6, who's 7/10 quicker than Sandeezy's time. So already out of the blocks there. Seb.
Yeah, we could be potentially getting 29.4s, maybe 29.3s even. where the track evolves around here, you expect to see fairly quick times. I'm not sure we'll get 28s. I feel like that's a bit far-fetched, but generally you lose about 6/10 in lap time as the session progresses, and I wouldn't expect it to be too different around here.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not one of those tracks where you can easily orchestrate the toe. The end of the lap is very, very early after the final corner. I should also mention as well, so Potts and Geordie there have retired, so they have received some quality bans after some stuff they happened last weekend, so that's why they are not participating in qualifying. We do also have Sandeezy reserving this evening, and also Scarsols has jumped in the Renault tonight. And we've got Kajaki back in the Haas, so we've got a couple of drivers out tonight. Good to see some other people getting a go. Now as Mikau comes to his line, 129.764, so he's not quite knocked off Feber's time, even with that toe, so it looks like, yeah, great lap there from Feber.
Yeah, looks like we've got a good spread here, Gus. Just a little group from 3rd to 8th, separated by just over 0.3 of a second. That involves Trent, Pacey, well not Pacey, Pacey's outside of that. We won't be seeing any of Jackson tonight, unfortunately. He's not going to be racing, but a big battle, P4, Trent, Pacey, Artanis. It's heating up very nicely. They're separated by 4 points. Pacey and Trent on 136 each, and Artanis on 132. So he'll definitely be biting at the chops in the final 4 rounds of the season. But
yeah, there we go. So that's the Drivers' Championship standings at the moment for the top 5. We've got Mikau on 333 points, Feber on 220, Big Al on 168, and Pacey and Trent on 136 points tied. But Pacey obviously has that win from Monaco, so on count back he is in a high position. So yeah, it is very, very tight there at the moment in that upper midfield.
Just in that phase of qualifying now. Everyone's done their first run. 3 runs at this Russian circuit, but
so we do have a question in the chat about the implications of the championship today, so I'll bring that up for you. Just mislabel my shortcuts. So Mikau can win the championship tonight. If he finishes 1st or 2nd, Feber can finish in any position. It won't matter if Mikau is 1st or 2nd. If he's 3rd, 4th or 5th with the fastest lap, Feber must finish 2nd or lower for Mikau to win the championship. Mikau 5th without the fastest lap, Feber must finish 2nd or lower without the fastest lap. Mikau 6th or 7th with the fastest lap, Feber must be 3rd or lower, and so on and so forth. The rest of them are there. So basically, Mikau wins or 2nd, he's guaranteed to win the championship no matter where Feber finishes. And if Mikau's outside the points, Feber must finish 5th or higher to keep the championship going to the next round.
The way it's looking at the moment, I don't see it past Mikau to not finish in the top 2, Gus, but you never know, it's racing. Last round threw up a lot of spanners in the works for both drivers, both spinning with contact from other drivers at the back straight chicane at France. So we could see a bit of a mix-up here, but knowing Mikau, he normally doesn't make those types of mistakes, as Big Al slots himself into P3, a tenth behind our championship leader, but we'll see how this night progresses for these young drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Feber be kicking himself a bit after last week with after Mikau had that little bit of an incident and Feber ended up in front of him. That would have been just that little way that he could have just taken a bit away from that gap, but unfortunately he just couldn't bring home the goods and ended up behind Mikau, and that gap widened even further. So it's going to be a very, very hard slog for him to try and stay in this championship, but good to see both the drivers at the top of the grid at the moment. Hopefully they're able to give us a decent battle tonight.
Someone who's, as I mentioned before, Big Al, he's someone who's given them a run for their money throughout times of the season. But I'm not sure how quick he will be here. Obviously that lap is later than Mikau's and Feber's, so Mikau and Feber looking strong. Meanwhile Sandeezy, the reserve, I've heard good things about him. I've seen good things from him as well elsewhere, but he could find himself up there in a podium position potentially if he keeps a clean race and gets a good quality lap out there. This is a DRS train of a track, Gus, and pit stops can sometimes jumble that up. So if he potentially undercuts with a soft medium strategy, we could see some good stuff from him.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm just on board with Pondon at the moment. I think he's following Fever now through turn 3. And he was so close to the back of him at turn 2. He nearly ran at the back and had to lock his brakes to avoid the collision. He's started his lap really close to the back of the McLaren. But he's probably he's 2 tenths up at the moment. But yeah, I think he's...
Tell you what, he's having a good showing at the moment. He's in 7th. Last round was good for him. P9. Not sure how this is going to work out for him, but...
He's getting a little bit understeer in the corners, just following the McLaren's dirty air. I think they've actually made a little mistake there through, I think it's turn 7. And yeah, he looks like he's backed out. He's still giving the Haas a bit of a tow with the DRS, so that was quite generous of the McLaren there to give him a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. He was up 2 tenths in that first sector. Obviously, you got that big main straight that has turn 1 in it. Then he's gone and lost about 700ths of a second in that second sector, so obviously not hitting those apexes as you could tell.
Makes sense though, that second sector is filled with a lot of medium and slow speed corners, so he's stuck behind another car and that will affect your drive quite a bit. So he has gone up by 3 tenths, that puts him at P4, 130.2, so good effort by him. Just up on board with Mikow, who's just at the end of sector 2. He's got to find that tenth to try and get Fever off that pole position. Around the second last corner, that racing point's just so planted, he's just able to throw it in the corners. His teammates actually binned it out of the final corner as we cross the line. Sandesi, I don't know how he hasn't DNF'd there, but Mikow goes provisional pole with a 129.5, and yeah, you can see the missing end plate there on Sandesi's car. That was, yeah, that was an interesting one.
Well, as Trin jumps Sandesi, as we were talking about it, but the interesting thing about that is it's actually slightly faster to just spin up the rear wheels out of the final corner and just risk having a qualifying end. I feel like you have a good enough lap. It can be worth it. It's definitely worth it at the end of the session when qualifying's ended and you no longer have to deal with the consequences of beating the car. But yeah, it's a little interesting, isn't it? That you can spin your rear wheels up, spin around, and the final still go faster than taking it normally.
Yeah, definitely. As you see Smithy coming into the pits for the Ferrari. Well, that's a he's run very deep there and sped across the line as well. You know, FIA has in Ferrari's back pocket, so I'm sure he won't get any penalties for that. Very unsafe pit entry.
Subtle dig.
Let's jump down to Wahid, who still hasn't set a time yet, and he's invalidated again. So the Williams driver really struggling with these track limits. At the moment, he's down at P18. He should still start on the second last row of the grid. The other two not setting times either, but retiring earlier in the session. But yeah, Wahid really needs to just get any lap done. We've said this before. When it comes to these short qualifying sessions, just set any time on your first lap, and then push and push and push throughout the rest of the session. Unless, of course, there's wet weather involved, but we know that it's going to be dry quality and dry race. So just get a time on the board first, and then that takes all that pressure off, and then you just push the limits from there.
Exactly. Well, it helps build up your qualifying as well. This is as I said before, you get 3 laps in this qualifying session to do something with. You generally don't leave a lot of room for error. Obviously, get that first lap in, get that banker in, make sure you have a time on the board, and the second lap's building on that, finding limits, and then the last lap's trying to bring that all together, bring all that knowledge together with the weather conditions and what you've learned from the week and the current session. Try and put in as good as lap as possible. Meanwhile, Al is setting up the Sector 2 split on fire. He's just gone purple by about 2 tenths. So we'll see how he goes through these final 2 sectors. He's going through turn 16. Sorry.
No, we're just on board with Polypepsi behind him, who's still sitting quite a way down the water at the moment. Hasn't set a clean lap. We're jumping forward, yeah, with Big Al now coming through the final corner now. Runs very wide. How he didn't invalidate, I don't know, but he set provisional pole with a 129.447.
Yeah, you can get away with that. That's another thing. You can go wide at the corner. As long as you don't come back onto the track and you cross the line before doing that, you're good to go, and you should be able to have a valid lap.
Absolutely. Just jumping back with Matt Soyd in the AlphaTauri, who's currently... Oh, he's invalidated as well, so let's not worry about that. Who else is on a lap at the moment? I think probably Pepsi's done a lap. Flyboy is coming into the pits. think most of the drivers are on our lap, so we're going to jump aboard with Sid. I think he's only one about to do a lap. Yeah, we've got an Alfa Romeo coming into the pits now and an Alfa Tauri as well.
Tell you what, he's out very early.
Yeah, still got just under 3 minutes, so you could get a couple of laps in here. He's doing a real life warm-up lap by the looks of it, going very slow through the tight and twisty part between sectors 2 and 3.
Well, what I imagine he's doing, as Flyboy's disconnected, we'll get him back in, but what I imagine he's doing is he's giving himself a bit of room for error by if he invalidates for it in the second lap. He should have time, yep, it's about minute 30, and he should be able to get back for a second lap if he wants it.
Yeah, as long as he's got enough fuel in the car. Oh, he's just backed out immediately. That was odd. Just as soon as he got to the pit exit, he's just backed right out again. I wonder if maybe he's waiting for a tow. Maybe he filled the car up and he's dropped too far back from the McLaren. That's weird. I've never seen a driver do that before.
I just wonder if he didn't get enough of a run out of the final corner and just was dropping too much time down that straight. That could be a possibility, but very unlikely. Normally when you have something like that happen, it's normally you don't normally lose more than about 200s or 300s of a second, so...
Lights in the chat's just saying he had no ERS on at the exit of the final corner, so maybe he's realised too late down the straight that he didn't have it on and figured, well, I may as well save it up and do a final run after this one. Just do a second warm-up lap, so that's a good observation there, Lights. So yeah, that probably explains what it is. So we're just on board with Scarsouls now in the Renault. At the moment it's going through Sector 2 and that Renault looks so planted, taking so much speed through these corners.
Yeah, it is. He was up 6/10 on his first sector time, meaning obviously that first lap he did was nowhere near what he can do. You've got the final 6 corners to navigate, turn 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and that's probably the most trickiest part of this track. How's he going to navigate it? Brakeboard on the right hand side, not really a brakeboard, but it's more of a red sign. Get the car into 14, it's so tedious in the traction zone. You've got to put it over to the right of 15, early turn in and get the car as left as possible for 16. Avoid that inside bump and get it close to the wall on the outside. Now you're just preparing yourself for pretty much the same corner, Gus. 17 a bit faster than 18 and opens up and then closes for 18. Gonna floor it out the corner. That's only 8th place for him, but it's still a decent lap.
Absolutely. I'm just going to jump back with Kajaki, who's, I think, winding up to start a lap, so jump on board with him and see how he goes. Got to keep an eye on Mikau and Fieber, though, who are currently on laps. So Mikau's actually invalidated on this run, and Fieber I'm actually going to jump on board with because he's just gone through Sector 1 with his 10th up. And that'll be good enough to get in front of Mikau, and not quite good enough to get in front of Big Al.
Interesting thing is, Big Al retired from the session, so Fieber's got a chance here of nicking pole.
Absolutely, this will be a little bit of track evolution here, so this will be the optimal time to put a time in on the board. Can Fieber find enough time in the second and third sectors to just get that pole position? But of course, at Russia, such a long run into turn 2. Pole's not always the best place to be. So he's 2.5 tenths up now, and that will put him onto provisional pole if he can maintain his delta. He's just so committed through these corners. He's got a big slide in the rear though, and that off camber left-hander. So I think he might have lost a little bit of time there. It comes through 17 and now 18. Lots of commitment on super wide out of the final corner. He's found 4 tenths. Yeah, fair enough. Mikau has got the checkered flag, so he wasn't able to set another time at all. So I dare say that's going to be Fieber on pole, Big Al second, and Mikau third. T-Mac comes across in 4th. Combine has invalidated Trin. He's coming through, turn 17 now.
He's down in his time. Just a heads up, Sandeezy's a 10th up on his time, so he couldn't nip Trin here. Maybe even combined as well.
Trin, big tank slapper in the last corner. Manages to get through.
And Sandeezy invalidated at a 16, so he just went a bit too wide, and now Ponder's got a chance. I wonder if he's up in his time. I wasn't looking at him, but by the looks of it, his time could be pretty good. Coming around the final corner, early turn in, get that foot planted down. Is he going to get him? Oh, no, he doesn't, but he does improve, Gus.
Yeah, and look at combined P5 with 130.040. Absolutely amazing lap there from the Renault driver. It's going to come out of nowhere after Well, this season he's kind of battling around the midfield, but that is an absolutely great time to put him up into the top 5.
Oh yeah, and it's same with Pondon as well. Combine and Pondon both kind of been at that back of that midfield, as you were saying, but they've put in some good laps and they've found themselves in the top 10, which is crucial around here.
Absolutely. And Wahid finally set a time 1:30.638, so he's gone up to P13. Couldn't quite get a run in on that final lap. It looks like he invalidated that one as well. And I think everyone else has completed a lap. Just got to wait for the guys in the pits to retire, and that is going to be our grid for this race here at Russia. We've got about 40 seconds left until the end of the session, but if everyone retires, then we should be able to keep going. We might have to wait for the clock to run out, so Feber on pole, followed by Big Al, Mikau, and T-Mac and combined, our top 5, and we've got Trin, Sandeezy, Pondon, Sid, Kalios, rounds out our top 10, so they'll all have to start on the soft tyre, and then we've got Scar Souls, Pacey, Wahid, Smitty, Matsoid, Flyboy, Apollo, Pepsi, Kajaki, Potsy, and Geordie rounding out our grid. So, rules of F1, anyone outside the top 10 has free choice of tyres for the start of the race, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see almost everyone in the grid running the soft tyre. You might get the odd person doing the mediums, but that's generally, I don't know, Seb, what, in your experience, is the alternate strategy worth it here at Russia?
Oh, it's not entirely, unless you can stick with that DRS train. You are biting your nails a bit, but I think if you have the pace, someone who does have the pace, Pacey, he could possibly pull something off. We know how good of a driver he has been and can be, although that qualifying position doesn't necessarily show it. Scarsoul's in a good showing as well. Smitty's down there. He can show some pace sometimes as well, but he tends to make a lot of mistakes. Potsy and Geordie are the ones to look at, both with those quality bands, as you mentioned early on. I'd expect Potsy to at least start on the mediums. He'd be the one person I'd think that would do it, knowing him.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think anyone's going to run the hard tyre at all? Very rarely see them use it at all when it's dry, but unless you get a first or second lap bit of damage.
Yeah, that's the only situation you can see it, can't you? Unless you are living for a very late safety car, which you never want to play that type of game. You always want to play the race as it goes and not really predict anything, because if you try and predict a safety car, it normally ends up biting you in the rear. But normally, when you don't expect it, one tends to come out. So we'll see how it pans out.
Absolutely. All right, so we're just waiting for the drivers to load into the race session, so they'll be picking their strategy for the race as well as fuel loads and any tweaks to the front wing. So I'll just have a few more seconds while we wait for that to load up. Just a reminder for our standings currently in the top 5. Mikau Fever, Big Al, Pacey and Trin. So it's going to be a really tight battle there for the final few places there and bragging rights. Of course, in AFR, the top 4 drivers all have to be in different teams for the next season as well. So just make sure we don't get any domination across the Constructors' Championship. And of course, our scenarios as well for Mikau to win the championship. If anyone wants to have a quick read through that while we wait for the last couple of drivers to load up. And here we go. Let's have a look at our strategies. So yeah, everyone in the top 11 on the softs. We've got Pacey, My Heat on the mediums. We've got Matsoy, Apollo, Pepsi, Potsy and Geordie as well. With Smitty, Flyboy and Kajaki opting for the soft tyre as well. So they're going around for their formation lap just to get a bit of temperature into the tyres. A few spicy comments in the chat around about that qualifying lap finishing well outside the track limit, so there's a bit of discussion going on the Discord as well, so I'm sure it'll be an interesting one to look at as well for Tier 2. I'm sure that one would have attracted the attention of the stewards, no doubt. The unfortunate thing with the Formula 1 games is that there's not really much you can do in a live session such as this. But you'd expect that if you're running that wide, the game would have prevented you from doing something. That's It's very odd. The game's normally pretty good. Like we see a lot of the corners here. If you just touch all 4 tyres across that white line, you get an instant invalidation, and you can go right out on the AstroTurf there, and it doesn't invalidate.
It's a tough one because I didn't even realise that you could do that until earlier today. So you can kind of get away with it a bit, but there's obviously a kind of a line. Like we saw, I believe it was Big Al who, although he crossed the white lines, he did keep it on the curb. But then you see Fever, who just decided to go a whole car width outside the track limits. But we'll come under discussion. I don't think he'll get, if he does get penalised, I don't think it'll be too much of a penalty, but there'll definitely be discussions around it.
Yeah, it's also that grey area where the game allows you to do it and there's no direction, like Jacob says. If there's no pre-race direction, it's a bit hard to enforce anything after the fact, so it might be something that's brought in next season. Yeah, Scavy, this is Tier 1. We'll have Tier 2 in about an hour's time after the Tier 1 race. Drivers are just forming up on the grid. A couple of drivers coming around the final corner now, and we'll be underway in a few seconds. Here we go, just waiting for the Alfa Romeo to grid up. There we go, lights are coming on, the engines are revving, and we're away. Just gonna give us a better angle, there we go. So it looks like a great getaway from Fever. Looks like 4 wide at the back. We've got Mikau slipped down to P4. T-Max had an amazing start. Mikau right out on the outside of the corner now. He's going to lose that spot to T-Mac. They're going wheel to wheel, and they managed to get through without too much drama. Looking a little bit back throughout the field, and it looks like everyone's got through there relatively unscathed. They're going a little bit 3 wide through turn 3. Making it through relatively well behaved. As we see, I think that was Trin or Ponton really touching the wall there. Cuts out a little bit. Jump a little bit further back. We've got the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri fighting with the Alfa Romeo. We've got a little bit further back the other AlphaTauri and the Alfa Romeo fighting. All sorted it out, going single file. Jump a little bit further up. Mikau's regained that spot back from T-Mac. So he's currently in P3. Fever had the perfect start, was able to hold this position. Even with the long straight, I think he was really helped by T-Mac there. We'll jump a little bit further back, so we'll put the Renault Scarsol, make him move on Kalios at the end of the straight, and gets it done nicely.
It was an interesting first lap. Smitty and Pacey did come together, but I believe that was deep sync between the 2 drivers. Unfortunately, I don't think Pacey can see Smitty on his screen, the quirk of the game, but that was a good start from T-Mac, wasn't it? Able to get himself up into P3 initially, then Mikau taking it back. That's what Mikau needs to do. He needs to get that P2 in order to claim this title. Yeah, it's potentially Coronation Day, and he's going to be up there.
Yeah, unfortunately for Combined YouTuber as well, losing a couple of positions there off the grid after qualifying so well. The grid's going a little bit cactus at the moment with all the... seems to be a recurring theme in the F1 game. On lap 2, I think we're on lap 3. We've got a yellow flag somewhere. I think we've got this Ferrari of Smitty's gone around at turn 2. It doesn't look like he's got any damage, so I'm not sure if he was assisted off at the end of the straight, but seems to be going okay now. I'm going to jump on board with T-Mac if I can grab his number before he moves again. So he's dropping off a little bit off the back of Mikau now, but he's managed to keep the rest of the field behind him as we've got our intervals come back.
Meanwhile, Gus, Sandeezy all over the back of Combined YouTuber now. So Sandeezy reserving for stars. It's looking good right now. I believe it's the second lap, so we don't actually have DRS yet. So hopefully the timing tower will fix itself. But what we're getting right now is that long DRS train all the way from 1st to 13th at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. Sandeezy having a pretty decent start at the moment. I think our intervals for some of the drivers have actually frozen, so they should correct themselves once they come around to the end of this lap. Again, Sandeezy stuck on 1/10 interval, which is not, I mean, it's pretty close, but it hasn't moved at all, so I think it's probably bugged a little bit. There we go, 335.
Well, there we go. Now we're on lap 3, and now we have DRS.
Here we go, you can see there, Combined YouTuber's got it on the back of Pondon, Sandeezy's got it on the Renault driver as well. splits. We've seen previous races such as Coda, we've had the massive DRS train, even 5-10 laps into the race, just because this field is so tight. As we see, Sandeezy going around the outside of turn 3, comes the inside of turn 4, going wheel to wheel. The Renault driver running off onto the AstroTurf to maintain position, gives the Racing Point a bit of a nudge as well, and manages to keep the position. P7 just jumping a little bit back through the field. We've got Potsy and Matsoid battling it out as well. Potsy already up to 14th after starting on the back row of the grid. Geordie not quite made as much ground. Started on the back row as well. He's only up to 17th. As you see, our first penalty of the race with Scarsouls picking up a 3-second penalty for exceeding track limits.
Yeah, meanwhile, Sandeezy still with the back of combined YouTuber, but didn't get a good enough run out of turn 10, so you have to wait and bide his time. Big Al up ahead is right next to Fever. He's within that 2/10 gap as they go into the braking zone of turn 13, so he could come under real threat Fever of losing that P1 position down into the run for turn 2.
Absolutely, so we see those top 3 have pulled away from the rest of the field, 1.5 seconds separating Mikau and Mikau and T-Mac. So yeah, expect Big Al and Mikau to have a good go at Fever. Mikau should be protected from Mikau though. He'll have the slipstream of Fever. We'll see how that eventuates.
Meanwhile, just Trin is just sticking onto T-Mac at the moment. I think he just wants to save a bit of ERS. Get T-Mac using his ERS. Meanwhile, Sandeezy with the run on Combined YouTuber down into turn 2, around the outside. Combine's going to fight it. He's going to look. Sandeezy's giving him the room, but he'll take that P7 position and he'll look forward from here on, Gus.
Absolutely, we're with Big Al for a little bit of that as well. He had to think about going at him after turn 2, but thinks better of it. Saves DRS. He'll have a look a bit closer next time, I think. But have a look at Trin pushing the Mercedes through. Turn 5. So close in this midfield. Ferrari driver. Looks like he's got the pace on T-Mac. T-Mac drops right off the back of Mikau now, 2 seconds. So I think Trin may have him here at the back of the long straight.
Doesn't look like T-Mac's entirely hitting his apex, and look at the run. Trin's got a bit of ERS and now the DRS. T-Mac is not using any of his ERS. He's just going to let him go by. This will be a simple move for Trin.
There he goes. Moved slightly off the racing line to get it done, but it's comfortably well before the braking zone. So good move there for the Ferrari driver. Big Al looks like he's a little bit closer now to the back of Fever. Skipping around 410. It's actually just going to jump back. It looks like Sid and Combined having a little bit of a battle, and Combined just moving further and further back through the field. I don't know if he's got any, don't think he's got any damage, but he's just really struggled to keep that position from the start of the race. Ali in the chat saying Big Al's struggling as he's got DRS and that gap is closing to less than 4/10. I think he is going to be saving his ERS though. I don't think he's going to want to take the lead at this point. Jump back again as Combined. And Sid playing a bit of musical chairs, swapping positions. Combined going back up to P8. And the Red Bull driver staying behind. He's having a good look at him around turn 3 though. To have a go into turn 4, he thinks about it, but tucks back in to the slipstream of the Renault. And have a go at him on the back straight, no doubt.
Tell you what, it's early stages, but Ponden's been quietly good, up 2 positions, starting from P8. He could do some good things in this race, but looks like he might be struggling a little bit in the wake of T-Mac's Mercedes car.
Yeah, absolutely. So Trin and Ponden both up 2 places since the start of the race. Wahid up 1. Potsy up 5 places since the start, so he's had a mega getaway with Flyboy up 1 as well, and Geordie up 3. Smitty, the big loser, down 5 places, and Combined down 8 as well. Again, Sid and Combined swapping places at the end of the back straight. The Renault just hanging it on the inside. Oh, he's had a little bit of a moment there as a Renault driver. I think he just lost the rear slightly, had to catch it.
Look at this train, Gus. This is absolutely massive from P9, P8-ish. It's Wahid.
Yeah.
This is where Pacey through. Eventually,
squeezes him onto the AstroTurf.
Tell you what, Potts is licking his chops right now, Gus. He's got a really good run at this, but he's got little ERS. Here they go, steaming down through turn 1 and on the run to turn 2. Pacey with DRS, he'll get by easy. But what about Potsy? Potsy's swerving with this little snake of a train going down to tier 2. He's taking the inside. Wahid's sitting outside there, but he's being pushed off. Looks like Potsy will get the move done and he'll take P13. But Flyboy's out here as well.
Yeah, he's on those soft tyres, so he should theoretically have a bit more pace than Wahid at the moment, but it looks like he's not quite got it done this time around. Be a great move by Potsy and Pacey to get through on the medium tyre as well. They're going to go pretty long into the race with those tyres. And yeah, making up a lot of ground since the start. Just keeping an eye on the front. Mikau a bit closer to Big Al this time. Big Al dropping off a little bit from the back of the McLaren. Just wonder if he's starting to feel the pressure a little bit, having the championship leader hot on his heels. And here we go, Big Al looking at the inside. He's better of it. That's the closest we've come to him deciding to make a move. So I just wonder if Mikhail's making this little push now, giving Big Al the hurry up. It's getting very tight and tasty for the top three. See now Trin's got past T-Mac. The gap's now 2.5 seconds between Mikau and the Ferrari. There we go. Jumping on board with Mikau now in the racing point, following our two race leaders. Mikau getting so close, just 2/10 behind the McLaren now.
What's interesting is Mikau's just saving ERS, so he doesn't really want to move, but meanwhile, look how close Big Al is. Just 10% more battery than FIBA at the moment, but nevertheless, he's still looking menacing.
Just jumping back, Scarsol's has lost position to Pacey, and now Potsy's having a look down the inside of the Renault as well. Very aggressive move. Gives the Renault a bit of a hit. He's used up a lot of his ERS to get to where he is, but the Renault driver's still hanging around the outside. Ooh, Alfa Romeo getting pushed up onto the curb, but Scarsols maintains position, stays in P12, but Pacey managed to get through, he's up to P11.
Meanwhile, Sandeezy with some great racecraft getting past Pondon, down on the run to turn 5, had a good exit out of turn 4, and just got him down the inside. Pondon couldn't do much, had
jumping
the
up
line.
to the race leaders, Big Al again, having a look at the inside. He's not going for the move. Look at this, half a second covers all three of our leaders at the moment. This is a very tight battle that we've got at the moment. It's good to see this championship going down, at least with a fight. It could be the last race before it's decided.
Meanwhile, Potsy with an absolute killer run on Scarsols into 15. How's that for a move?
We've got a yellow flag, one of the McLaren's around. Apollo Pepsi has gone around just after the bridge. Not sure if he's got any damage. Just jumping back with him now. No, looks like it's all good. He's going to jump back up. Oh, it's Mikau's pit. Mikau has pulled the trigger. He's gone for the undercut on lap 8. Meanwhile, Big Al very close to the back of the McLaren of FIBA. We'll expect both of these guys to react at the end of this lap.
This is huge, Gus.
Absolutely.
Brilliant decision. Look how much space he has.
Mikau's come out in P19, so that's how close this grid is. He's dropped all the way down to 19th place after that pit stop. But like you say, he's got so much clean air. He's got Apollo Pepsi just in front of him. They're 8 seconds behind the rest of the grid, so this should give him the clean air he needs to really push and make this undercut work. I'm just having a look. It doesn't look like FIBA or Big Al are reacting at all with the ERS. We thought maybe they'd turn it up a little bit just to make sure that they can react quickly enough. But
I think FIBA might have. I haven't been keeping track of his ERS usage. But what's interesting, top 17 separated by less than 16 seconds. That is crazy. That's how close this field is, as you were mentioning before. So we're about to see what happens here. But I think these two would need to pit.
Yeah, absolutely. Just coming through the final sector now. FIBA with a bit of a lock-up at the end of the back straight. Big Al doing so well to stay with these leaders. And here we go. FIBA's reacting. He's coming into the pits. Big Al, he had to think about it, but he decided to come in as well. So they're both going into the pits. And FIBA's spared. FIBA's picked up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that is going to hurt so much.
Wow.
Alright, so let's jump back with Mikau. Mikau's currently in P18. He's got past Apollo Pepsi. He had to fight him a little bit for the position. And Apollo Pepsi is fighting him back. He's not letting him go easily. And there we go. So Mikau has lost a bit of time there. I wonder if that was just to help out his teammate of FIBA just a little bit. But Mikau coming around the final corner now. Is he going to get the undercut? See the McLaren and the Red Bull moving in the pit lane. I think he may have got it.
It's going to be neck and neck.
It's going to be very, very close. You can see them coming through the pit exit now. And he's side by side with the Red Bull coming into turn 2. And the Red Bull is... Oh, he's tapped tyres. But Mikau has got through. The undercut has worked. He's got past one of them. But FIBA is still up in P13, so he has been able to stay out and maintain position.
Mika needs to use that ERS to keep it within DRS range of Fever, so he just can't pull away. That 5-second penalty is so crucial in this race, and we've seen Fever make those little mistakes here and there throughout the season. That's really cost him in this championship bout.
Yeah, absolutely. Really disappointing to see that he's picked that up, but hopefully, for his sake, he's able to make that gap out. And I'm just going to jump up to Matsoid, and I think he's side by side. No, it's Pacey. Pacey and Potsy's. Potsy's up into P4 now. Great start from the Alfa Romeo driver, starting on the back row of the grid. We've got a yellow flag. Oh, we've got a red ball around. Oh, he's gone straight into the wall as well. So that was Sid. Looks like he's had a big moment there. If I can find him. There he is. Yeah, he's lost his front right end plate. And that was a big, big hit. I'm surprised he didn't lose a tyre from that one. We'll see a few more drivers coming into the pits now as well. Go. So Flyboy staying out on the soft tyres. Been out there for 9 laps now. Scarsols as well staying out. And
I don't think Mikel has DRS on
no,
Fever.
he doesn't. Look at this. So Big Al's got the DRS on the Racing Point, but the Racing Point has no DRS. Fever pulled away. It's over a second. So this is where Fever really has to dig deep. He has to push and push now. So if he can't get that gap out for 5 seconds, then that's it. The championship's most likely going to be settled. Yeah, absolutely. Bandcamp in the chat. Fever needs to put cars between himself and Mikau, and he's absolutely right. He needs to try and make up ground and just make it a little bit more difficult for Mikau to get back in the position he needs to win the championship. Can jump up. Pacey and Potsy still battling. I think Pacey's a little bit too far back though to be able to get the move done. So Potsy is in the lead of the race at the moment. Yet to stop though. Same as Pacey, Wahid, Flyboy, Matsoy, Geordie, and Scarsouls. I think everyone else except for probably Pepsi has pit at the moment.
What's interesting for Fever is that he has 5 cars, well, 5 cars of medium runners that he could make use of in the next, say, about 5 or so laps, just to try and help him get that gap to Mikau, but I don't think he will. They're very similar on pace before, so it's going to be tough for him to get that 5 seconds.
Big Al setting the fastest lap of the race there, 133.9 on those medium tyres, as we see our soft runners coming into the pits. So that's everyone except for the drivers who started on the mediums doing their mandatory pit stops.
And Mikau does have DRS now. Had it on that main straight, and he's definitely within range now.
There we go, 9 tenths. So they're going to be hurting Fever at the moment, not having DRS off anyone in front of him. He's still 2.5 seconds behind Geordie. But once he catches up to those medium runners, I think he's going to be able to just make it a little bit more difficult for Mikau. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out. So meanwhile, we've got a battle between Smitty and Flyboy at the moment. We'll run into turn 4. Ferrari's got the inside line. Squeezes the Alfa Romeo out very wide onto the AstroTurf, and the Alfa Romeo gets the position. Surprised that wasn't made illegal by the game. And the Ferrari gives him a little bit of a tap, or 2 taps in fact. I think the Ferrari driver did not like getting overtaken off the track like that, and I suspect that Flyboy was probably told to give the position back by the game, because he did look like he was all 4 wheels off the track when he made the move.
That's probably why we had that brake check there, but right now the race has kind of died down a bit. We do have some battles going on, but all 2-car battles and nothing large like the DRS change we were having.
Yeah, so at least we've got Pacey still hanging on to the back of Potsy, but I don't think he quite has the pace without DRS to get the move done. Just have a look through the rest of the field. He's having a bit of a look though into turn 2 as I say that.
Might just be a cautionary one, just so he doesn't run into the back of him. Also, you've got to make sure the engine's pretty cool and the tyres aren't overheating too much. So that could be a factor, and this is very much a factor as you go through turn 3. Sorry, turn 3. Sorry.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
left-hander.
Fever's just a couple of tenths behind Geordie now, so he's managed to close up, and Mikau now 1.3 seconds behind. So it looks like Fever's been able to pull away with the assistance of DRS now. Is he going to get helped up by this traffic at all? They've been on those medium tyres for 11 laps, so they're not going to be as quick through the corners as the McLaren.
Tell you what, look at that run he has. He just takes that so much more confidently than Jordan. He's going to go for a move before the DRS straight. He will have DRS as well.
Yeah, he
wow,
will.
That's a smart move.
He passed him just... Oh, he's going to squeeze. No, he's actually getting passed by the Williams again, and he's getting a little bit of a squeeze from Geordie, who's moved all the way up from the last row of the grid as well. And yeah, just the Williams getting DRS as well. There's a bit of contact between the two. Feber's not going to be happy at all. This is not Geordie's fight. They're on very different race strategies. Feber has been able to get through. Importantly, he hasn't got any damage from it, but he has lost a little bit of time to Mikkel, who's now within DRS range of the Williams. Feber, I think he's learned from previous races. He seems to be moving a little bit smarter through these, I guess, back markers, you call them, being able to sync on strategy without doing anything too high risk. So it's good to see that he's putting in a really good fight to try and keep this championship alive.
I don't think he'll have the move on Matt just yet. But what's crucial is he has a car between himself and Mikkel, so that could cause problems. Meanwhile, Trin getting the move done on Apollo Pepsi before he even gets to turn 1. Sorry, before turn 2, I should
as well,
say.
trying to run the
outside. T-Mac as well, going for the dive.
Oh, but he's gone straight
yeah.
off. Oh, I don't think Michael Massey will be too happy. He didn't go to the left side of that bollard. I think Apollo Pepsi will still keep the position. He's trying to run the outside of turn 3, which becomes the inside of turn 4. Side by side is going to make it through without dramas. Oh, the Mercedes is running very wide there, nearly hitting the concrete barrier on the outside. The McLaren still holds the inside line. And again, the Mercedes going out and following a completely different racing line. And it's a bit naughty as well. I think you might have to give that spot back. You have to go very wide on the exit to keep that position. So I don't think Apollo Pepsi will be too happy with that. But he's also on very old medium tyres.
Meanwhile, Mikkel got past Jordan, but Faber's going to get by Matt on the run through 12 into 13.
We've got a virtual safety car. We have a virtual safety car has been deployed as Faber was about to go past Matsoid. I'm not sure who that was for. It looks like we've got a Haas, possibly. Very slow in sector 2. I'm not sure if there was any damage there. But Faber will be kicking himself there. He nearly had the move done, and Matsoid just managed to stay in front when the VSC came out. And Matsoid now peels off into the pits. So Faber, hopefully for him, is going to be within DRS of Wahid. He's just in front. I think he will. But Mikkel, look how close behind he is. And Smitty drives through penalty for speeding on the VSC as well. Unfortunately, that's it. But Faber had a mega start. He's got straight past Wahid on the restart. Looks like he caught the Williams driver napping a little bit. He's gone very defensive as well, trying to block the racing point from making a move as well. And Faber goes through turn 2 in second place, and with a car in between. It looks like Wahid's actually run very wide there. I'm not sure if he's deliberately letting Mikkel go through or if he made a mistake, but Mikkel just follows the McLaren through into P3.
I'm not sure how this is going to pan out for Faber as the race goes on. Mikkel has a 3-second time for his name, but obviously that's not a 2-second gap he has right there. Big Al's also gone past Wahid behind, and it's not looking great for Faber.
Yeah, I was a bit worried there for Big Al. He had Wahid on the inside, and he swooped around the front, thought he might have come together, but thankfully he didn't. Now Faber's going to be under a little bit of pressure here. He doesn't have any DRS. Potsy's 4.5 seconds down the road. Is Mikkel going to be able to get the move done? He's over half a second back, so I'd be very surprised if he does. We've got a yellow flag at sector 1 and a virtual safety car. Smitty has crashed at turn 2. Another virtual safety car though, so the tyre field is neutralised and they won't be bunched up, which I think Faber's probably pretty happy about because he needs to grab a 2-second gap between himself and Mikkel. You see there, Faber 5-second penalty for speeding the pits, Mikkel 3-second penalty for cutting the track.
Well, this could potentially help Potsy out. He's obviously in P1 on those 13-lap old mediums.
He's peeled off into the pits now, so he'll get a cheaper pit stop. Yep, so he'll be jumping onto the softs now for the next 13 laps.
That's worked out very nicely for him.
So Faber's taking the lead, and importantly, it's going to be who is able to get the best start. We've got a drive to penalty for Kalios for speeding on the virtual safety car as well. And we're still full yellow. And there we go, go green. And just half a second between Faber and Mikkel at the moment. Got a couple of drivers coming into the pits now, Potsy, Wahid and Kalios. Yeah,
Casey and combined and Potsy all coming out together.
Let's not discount Big Al here for the race win, so he's still staying within DRS range of Mikkel, and with Faber with a 5-second penalty, Big Al may actually be on for a race win here.
And it'll be second in his row, so he's putting on some good form here. Meanwhile, Potsy And Pacey going at it down on the run to turn 4. They're going side by side. It looks like Pacey's at the back out. Potsy has that outside line and some track position on him as well.
Absolutely, great work from Potsy. Potsy and Pacey, we expect them to close that 7-second gap to Pondon pretty quickly. But Potsy having an absolutely great race starting from the back row. Already up into the points, still got half the race to go.
I think Sandeezy's gearing up for a move on T-Mac. He's not using his ERS. He's using a bit of it before that run to turn 10, but he's not really utilising it. I don't think he was liking the look he was having on him through 11, 12 and 13.
Whoa, it looked like T-Mac teleported a little bit back into Sandeezy then. Well, we might have had a bit of a collision, but thankfully they did not.
Jordan
at the front, Mikau now very close to the back of Fever, 3.5 tenths now. He's got DRS, he's not using any ERS, but the McLaren going very defensive anyway. Still going to be in front as we see Geordie peel off into the pits now. Oh, that gap just under 2 tenths now. I don't think Mikau's going to send it though. It'd be very high risk if he does that now. 2.5 tenths. So Polly Pepsi says some fastest lap of the race, still on 33.7.
I think Mikau realises or knows that Feber has that 5-second time penalty, otherwise he would have potentially gone for that move there. Sandeezy, he's all over the back of T-Mac at the moment though, who, although has DRS assistance from Trent up ahead, it's not really looking too lively at the moment. Sandeezy looks all over him. Ooh, bit of a snap there from the Racing Point driver. And then a snap from T-Mac as well. This could be his chance, but it doesn't look like he wants to use it yet. Just like they're going to snake down this back DRS straight.
Yeah, it looked like Sandeezy had a pretty average exit as well, so I don't think he actually gained much out of T-Mac's mistake there. I keep seeing the rear tyres of T-Mac's Mercedes look like they've got horrible wear on them, but I think it's just some texture clipping or something and makes it look more detailed than it is. Sandeezy nearly loses the rear there. It's such an awkward corner, that one. It's off camera as well. And just the rear nearly overtaking the front, as Martin would say. Mikau having another look at Feber on the run into turn 2. Again, just a little bit too far back. Just seeing quite a few of those soft runners now setting fastest laps. Apparently, T-Mac has Panda's chassis this week, according to Ali.
Very well, Potsy and Facey are just gaining some time on these drivers ahead. Both obviously pitted for soft tyres a little bit ago. And Pacey setting the pace at the moment.
Hey.
The fast lap of the race. Pun intended, by the way.
Wonderful, I love a good pun. As we see, Sandeezy gets the move done on T-Mac. T-Mac being forced out onto the AstroTurf, but he's not giving up too easily. I think he might be forced to concede as a Racing Point takes the inside line into the next corner. T-Mac may have... Oh, he runs very wide. That's not the ideal line there by the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, talks before the race of drivers going to be struggling with understeer. You can see that very much so. Add the effect of a car's wake in front. It's 5 weeks of 3-second time penalty.
Mikau had a good look at Fever there at the end of the next straight. But yeah, he gets within about 1/10.5 and decides to back out. So it's going to be a very risky move to get past, I think, at the moment. He's going to jump back. It looks like Matswood's going to be passed by Wahid, who's very defensive on the straight. And he has to tuck in behind the Williams driver. And we'll let Wahid move up to P11. So good to see Wahid making some good moves. After these qualifying, it's probably a little bit underwhelming, I think, with setting a few invalid laps with track limits. Well, again, having a look at Fever at the end of that DRS straight, but not quite doing it. He's using overtake now. I think he's going to make the move around the outside of turn 3, but I think Fever recognised what was happening and used overtake as well. Oh, Big Al's just looking at this, sort of rubbing his hands. I'm sure he'll be hoping that they fight a bit harder, and Big Al, Stephen Bradbury's it past.
Well, the key thing for Big Al right now is he doesn't need to fight them. He has one warning to his name from lap 11. Obviously, Mikau and Feber have time penalties to their name, so he can just sit within that DRS range and just soak what he's given. He doesn't really need a fire for it, but he can if he wants to get that win on merit.
Yeah, Mika having a look. He moves to the inside, but again, I think Bieber just braking a bit later than the racing point. Stays in front again.
Meanwhile, just behind, Potsy and Pondon going to go at it into turn 13. Potsy has the outside line on Pondon, and he'll swoop around the outside for a nice move into P7, and Pacey should shortly follow afterwards.
Absolutely, just jumping back, and Jordy and Matsoy battling a little bit. They're going side by side at the end of the straight. Oh, the Williams having to go very deep. Matsoy a bit of a squeeze.
We have a chance here. Mikaz within 3/10. He could go for a move. He's got the run. He's got the ERS. He's got the DRS. He's got the straight line speed. But is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Bieber defends that inside line hard. Mikaz's going to try and go around the outside. He's got off track. He'll have to yield the position, but he's going to use that ERS down the inside of turn 3 now as they run through this long left-hander. They go side by side. Look at Big Al behind them into turn 4. Big Al is still there, but he's going to get pushed wide. And now Big Al's in there. Big Al's definitely in there. They're 3 wide down the straight.
Oh, Big Al on the inside. Oh. Big Al and Stephen Brad bring it into the lead of the race. They're still 3 wide. Mikau and Fieber still side by side, but Big Al has taken the lead of the race, and it looks like contact between Fieber and Mikau. They nearly lose the car, but the McLaren stays in second place, and he will hold second place as well. Mikau has to settle for third, and Big Al.
We lost the car.
We called it. We called it, and what a move by Big Al. Just waited for the perfect moment to overtake, and he goes into the lead.
Mikau's going to go again. He's got the ERS. He's this close, but Fieber's just using these ERS to pull away just slightly. Maybe has a bit less wing on that front on that car. But wow, put that bell to music, Gar.
Oh wow, that was an incredible move by Big Al. Absolutely pog move by the Red Bull driver. And it's really good for him as well because both McLaren and the Racing Point have practically no ERS left in the tank. Oh, wow, that was an exciting lap. That was a great lap from Big Al. A great battle between Fieber and Mikau. Was hard, but pretty respectfully. Every cover just enough room. But we see Mikau now having a go. But Fieber does have DRS to defend this time, so he should be able to stay in that P2. As Bandit said in the chat, this does help him defend by losing the lead of the race.
Meanwhile, behind Potsy and T-Max, sorry to cut you off, but is Potsy going for a move down the inside into turn 2? As overhead,
the Racing Point of Sandeezy. He nearly loses the car. They go side by side. A bit of contact, and how did the Racing Point not lose the car there? He had a massive tank slapper on the straight. He's going to jump a little bit further back. T-Mac has lost position to Potsy as well. Oh, how that Racing Point did not lose control. That was absolutely nuts.
Give me a sec while I have a drink and take a breath. I am speechless at the moment. Potsy's now making up some real good ground. Look how well those soft tyres have turned on for him. Obviously, those medium tyres, 5 laps older for Trin and Sandeezy, and obviously a compound harder. So Potsy's going to have all the grip in the world. As you can tell, look at that run through turn 8 and 9. He's going to try around the outside of turn 10, but Sandeezy's got the inside line. He's going to squeeze him, but Potsy's strong on the outside, and he'll have that DRS to take the position from Sandeezy. No, but Sandeezy's still there, Gus. Sandeezy's still there as they run down to turn 13. Sandeezy's going to outbrake Potsy, and Potsy will have to yield. But can he come back through 14 and 13 on the run to 15? Look at that traction he has. It's so good. It's brilliant for the Alfa Romeo driver, but Sandeezy just won't give up, Gus.
Absolutely, they're still going side by side. I think he's gone too deep. He's gone too deep, and now Potsy's gone on the inside now. And he's got the inside line. He will take this position up into P5. Sandeezy, though, great effort trying to hold on to that spot. Oh, wow, we're seeing awesome battles all the way down through the grid. And just looking back, it looks like Pondon and Pacey going side by side. And T-Mac as well has lost the spot to Pacey. Ali in the chat, someone better check Seb's pants. So, man, this is absolutely insane. We're seeing great battles all the way down through the grid. And it's so hard to keep up with what's happening. I think Wahid's about to make a move on Combined YouTuber as well, but he decides better of it into turn 2. Mikau again, very close to the back of Fieber. Just 3/10 in it.
Oh, this race has gone to 11 real quick.
It has. They've still got 6 laps to go. Alrighty. Let's have a quick look, see what's going on.
Pacey now. Soft tyres. I don't think he's too close to Sandeezy. Sandeezy does have that DRS, but Trin up ahead, trying to battle Potsy, but he just doesn't have that anything to go with it. Potsy, fresher tyres, softer tyres, more grip, and straight line speed will just see him through on that Ferrari driver. But Pacey, he could steal P5 as well from the Racing Point and Ferrari driver. He's already stole some points from T-Mac and Pondent, who are both in P8 and P9 respectively, having good drives, although being outclassed at the moment by Pacey, two-time champion, and Potsy, a one-time champion.
Absolutely. Sandeezy doing very well to put up a good fight against this kind of caliber. Look at the front again, Mikau just a couple of tenths behind Feber. He's going to have a look around the outside of turn 3. I don't think so. He's not using any ARS at the moment. But this is all he has to do. Currently with the positions that stand, Mikau will win the championship at the end of this race. Still 5 laps to go. Anything can happen from here. As you see, Flyboy's pulled off into the pits. I wonder if he's picked up some damage on that lap.
Meanwhile, Wahid still not able to make any moves on combined yet. Scarsouls picks up another 3-second time penalty. Just a quick penalty check for you. Faber obviously on 5, Mikhail on 3 seconds. Jordan with 6, same with the Pepsi, Scarsouls, Kalios, Flyboy and Sid. Matt and Kojaki are the other 2 with pens on 3 seconds.
Yeah, thanks for that, Seb. Can you let us know as well who's got the fastest lap of the race? I think it might be Potsy.
Still be, it's either Pacey or Potsy.
Oh, as we see Trin and Sandeezy going wheel to wheel.
Well, Pacey's looming behind as well. He's going to go for a move down the inside of Trin into turn 15. How do you like this? A bit of opportunistic move. Trin hanging in there, but Pacey has the outside line, and Trin unable to get some good traction on those older medium tyres. As Pacey with the fastest lap of a 32.97 steams through for P6.
We've got a big battle as well happening for the final points paying position. We had Wahid getting back up into the points, P10 combined now under a lot of pressure from Geordie and Matzoid. So seeing some good battles all the way through the grid. And this race is absolutely going off as we see Pacey getting past Sandeezy, finally moving up into P5. So we see those 2 soft runners really fighting their way through the grid. I just wonder if Potts is going to be able to close in on the top 3. If he can get within 5 seconds of Fever, he may even get onto the podium. Just jumping back and Geordie and combined going side by side. Oh, they're almost going 3 wide through turn 3. We actually see Matzoid sneaking down the inside of combined, who ran a little bit wide at the horseshoe. And yeah, Matzoid up to P12, combined all the way down to 13th. And this really has been a race to forget, unfortunately, for the Renault driver, who qualified so well in P5. And unfortunately, he sits outside the points at the moment. And jump back up to Mikau. He's just sitting a bit further back of the track. Sorry, go ahead, Seb.
Yeah, just wonder if he pit too late. Obviously, he's on those 12-lap all mediums, which means he pit on them around lap 10. So I would have thought he should have pit earlier, considering he was falling down the grid earlier on in the race in that first stint phase. And now it's just kind of all fallen away from him. It's unfortunate. He had a great qualifying, but it's like it's all gone for him now.
Mikau looks like he missed his brake marker slightly there at the second last corner. Nearly ran in the back of Fever. Had to go a bit deep to avoid contact. And yeah, there you go. 8 tenths down on his previous best time on the track. So I think he's just struggling a little bit. He has been on those medium tyres for the longest out of the top 3. So I wonder if he's just struggling a little bit with that grip.
Knowing Mikau, I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to manage those tyres all the way through that stint. Apart from that first lap, obviously, when he was trying to pip both Big Al and Feber with the undercut, but didn't look like it paid off too well. Big Al, the victor of I say little, it was a rather grand battle through that first sector, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It was absolutely nuts. I reckon it's taken a fair bit out of their tyres and out of their ERS store, but Big Al sitting pretty at the front at the moment. Fever's actually charged up quite a bit, so I wonder if he's getting ready to have another go at Big Al when the time comes, but I just think he might not have enough in the tank to make a move on Big Al and then pull another 2 seconds to stay ahead of Mikau. Jump a little further back, and Geordie is battling his teammate Wahid. A couple of tenths in it at the moment, so they come into the DRS straight. go. Not fighting too hard. Geordie goes up into the points. Slightly pressure soft tyres, so I wonder if he's just going to have a go at Pondon, and if he can't catch him, hit the spot back. That'll be what Williams are hoping that they do, whether they do or not. It's a matter for them.
Well, Geordie does have the 6 second penalty to a heat.
Here we go, Fever making a move on Big Al now into turn 2, and he got it done pretty comfortably. Came from a fair way back, but I think Big Al quite happy just to let him go through. And Fever has taken the lead. He's got that 5 second penalty, so he really needs to get the foot down now and try and stretch this lead out as much as he can over the next 2.5 laps.
It's interesting. Big Al has the same amount, or just under what Feber has in terms of ERS. So he'll need to just stick with him, save a bit of ERS, see how close he can get on that final lap, and potentially steal that P1 back. Even regardless of having that penalty.
Yeah, Feber's really pushing. He was using a bit of ERS out of the corners there in Sector 2 as well, so he's really trying to put a bit of distance between himself and Big Al. So yeah, Mikau's not really followed him through. He's still half a second back on Big Al.
Meanwhile, that battle for P5 has kind of died down a bit. Sandeezy has kept up well with Pacey though. He stays within 3/10. He stayed within that gap for a while now. At least on those back straights, he'll catch up to about 3/10 within DRS range. That battle could go to the very end of the race at this rate. Trin's also sitting out there behind them in P7 with a bit of a grin on his face if these guys are a bit of a run-in.
Absolutely, just their leaders again, and Feber maintaining position, so it looks like Big Al quite happy to sit where he is at the moment. Mikau though, closing in that gap a little bit as we've got 2 laps to go. Yeah, Feber using almost all of his ERS now just to try and pull away a little bit. But yeah, I think unless something catastrophic happens, I don't see really getting the 5 seconds in front that he needs.
Well, interesting enough, Big Al's used barely any of it, if not all, and none of it, that he's been given, so he's got about 10% back over the lap, so...
Flyboy has just set the fastest lap of the race as well, so that makes things a little bit harder for Feber as well. Volcanic, it's a bit complicated, there's a few different scenarios, but at this point... Bring it up. So if Mikau finishes first or second, then it doesn't matter where Feber finishes, Mikau will win. If Mikau finishes third, Feber has to be second or lower for Mikau to win. So as they stand at the moment, Feber would drop to third place and Mikau would go up to second place, and that would be enough to win the championship. As we start the final lap of the race, and here we go. Let's see how it unfolds.
Well, interesting enough, we have Sandeezy behind Pacey for P5, as I mentioned before. Just looks like Sandeezy's biding in time and waiting. But now he's got the ERS and the DRS. He's used a bit of it. He's going to have that DRS just as he's about to overtake him as they go through turn 1. Streaming down to turn 2.
Here we go.
Looks like Sandeezy will have that move.
Just going to jump up to our race leaders now. Big Al keeping it very close behind Feber. Not quite close enough. I'm sure Big Al would love to absolutely win this race on merit, but at the moment he might just have to settle for penalties. There is still one long straight to go. Just have to wait and see if he's going to have the juice to do it.
I don't think he will. He's too far away, Gus.
Dropped off quite a bit. Mikau now having a look at Big Al. Big Al's actually got the fuel indicator light coming on, so I wonder if he's running it rich a bit too much. And here we go. At the end of the straight, Big Al maintains that second position.
Oh, wow.
Mikau having a good look at Big Al, but I think he's going to quite happily settle for this position.
It's coronation day, and we have a new king, Gus. His name comes in the form of Mikau.
Not just yet, still a couple of corners to go. I don't want to drink it just yet.
He won't throw it. He can't do it.
Here we go. Fever comes across the line first. Big Al second, but promotes to the race win, and Mikau comes across the line. He'll be in second place, which means that he is our Season 6 Drivers Champion for AFR Tier 1. Congratulations, Mikau, for that. The rest of our drivers come across the line, but let's see some doughies. Oh, congratulations to Mikau on the win. Wow, second place, but the win of the championship, so very well done to him. Valiant effort from Feber as well. He did everything he could in this race, but just unfortunate that, yeah, he picked up that penalty and it cost him at the end. But congratulations to Potsy. But well done to Big Al on his race win. Michael Schumacher himself getting the trophy. But well done to Mikau on his P2, Feber for P3. And there we go. So we've got Big Al with the win, Mikau second, Feber third. Potsy comes across the line in fourth, so absolutely mega drive from him. 15 positions he made up after starting 19th on the grid. Sandeezy, very good race from him in P5. Which is a very good race for Racing Point. We've got Pacey in P6, Trin 7th, T-Mac 8th, Pondon 9th, and Combined 10th. So good to see Pondon and Combined both get back in the points after, I don't know, they had a bit of a tough slog in the middle of the race there, but good to see them still get a couple of points each. We've got Matt Soyd as well in 11th, followed by Geordie Wahid, Apollo Pepsi, Scarsouls, Flyboy, Kalios, Kajaki, Sid, and Smitty rounding out our grid. Flyboy getting the fastest lap of the race with a 1:32.9. But congratulations to Mikau on his championship win. Very solid effort from him. He's been very consistent this whole championship. And kudos to Feber as well for doing his best to hang in there. Unfortunately, a couple of races just finished outside the points that hurt him. But he did everything he could tonight, so hats off to him as well. Well, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back for Tier 2 in about 13 minutes' time. Thank you so much to Seb for joining me in the commentary box. We'll be back shortly, so stick around. Thanks, guys. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tier 2, Round 18 of Season 6 from Sochi in Russia. I hope you've all taken a bit of a break, had a glass of water, and are ready for the Tier 2 race after that action-packed race we had in Tier 1 that decided the championship. We're here for the qualifying session of Tier 2. Looks like it's pretty cloudy, but no rain at the moment. We'll see how it pans out. Last season, turns 2 to 4, we had an epic battle between Pond and Trin and Artanis. This was on lap 5 for the lead of the race. You see there, Trin storming on through, Pond getting pushed a little bit wider than Artanis. Down the inside of turn 3, was able to get the position. He ran out a little bit wide trying to go down the inside of Trin, but then had to come back across, nearly forcing the Renault off the track. Ran a little bit wide himself at the exit of turn 4. He collected himself back up. The final lap of the race, we had this epic battle between Artanis and Simdogger for the race win. Simdogger running a little bit deep at turn 2, and then around the outside when Artanis in the Alfa Romeo swooping right around, comes the inside for turn 4, sorry, and the Alfa Romeo getting the win, both expending all of their ERS, and that was how the race ended. Turn 15 is a tricky one. Combat Rat found that out the hard way, running up the back of the Alpha Tauri of Decelerate at turn 15. And this was on lap 7, and he got tagged from behind as well, which sent him round up into the apex, and he had to wait for almost the entire grid to go past. Sitting there waiting, of course, you start to get warned about getting disqualified. He couldn't drive backwards because he had disqualified for that as well, so he just had to sit and wait, going all the way down to P16. 17, I think that was. Anyway, that is Tier 2 highlights from last season. Here we go for qualifying of Season 6. I'm joined in the commentary box by Apollo Pepsi. How are you this evening? You're on mute, that's how you are. Okay.
Yeah. I forgot.
How are we going?
Could be better.
What's
That's not my favourite.
What's the weather going to be like for the race?
Cloud and dry race. No fun for us, unfortunately.
Alrighty, no worries. Thanks for that. Just on board with Hero in the Haas. And he comes into Tier 2. It's very Turn 2. It's very overcast here for the qualifying session compared to Tier 1. We had it slightly earlier. Other times we're going to be seeing here Hero looking pretty tidy at the moment. Very committed through Sector 2, using all of the curb that he can. He's going to get a little bit of slipstream from the AFR. No. He's going very hard up against the wall. The Hero keeps going. This goes purple in Sector 2 as the first car on a flying lap. So back to a little bit of traffic. Got a couple of Mercedes just in the next corner. Hopefully they stay out of the way as it comes through. Very tidy lap so far. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just a banker though, and if he's got a little bit more to extract out in the next lap. Goes around the final corner.
Oh,
big drift from the rear end there. It's set to 129.7. So pretty good time there. And we've got Vasa. No, who's next one across the line?
Quantum.
Wingman Quantum Effect. There he goes. P2 131.4. So a lot slower there. 1.7 seconds. Back we've got the Williams of Mr. Spicer. No, we've got the Williams of Batemate coming across the line with 130.864.
I believe that's Skins?
Skins, setting 132.459. Quantum Effect comes across the line. No, Wingman 130.6. There we go. Names are moving too quickly, I can't keep track. Psycho with 131.3. And there we go, got the Red Bull. Oh, is that Decelerate? There we go. Comes across the line. P7 131.8. We got the Alpha Tauri of Anarchy. No. That's there we go. 31.7. It'd be nice if the track map had the names of the drivers next to them so I can have
you hope it has the next game. Or just the driver number.
And there we go, we've got Mr. Spice coming across line 32.1. We've got a couple of drivers on the medium tyres, obviously saving an extra set of softs for the race. As we've got a couple of drivers coming across the line. We'll have Bandcamp, Captain Clean himself. that he cleans himself, but he himself is called Captain Clean. Instead of 132.050 for his first lap on the soft tyre. And the Mercedes
Keep hasn't valid. Oh, I think he's just screwed. Not up a bit at the last corner.
Yeah, Nutt's done a 133.5, but yeah, Keeper invalidated. So
I
that's,
think Nutt's on again though.
you're not quite sure. He's using DRS on Keeper there. Oh, a big lockup from Nutt, and he's invalidated at turn 2. So after all that, trying to get the toe, and they both invalidated their laps anyway. Wonderful. So
Gotta love it.
that's pretty much it. I think everyone's on an in lap at the moment, so a little bit of relaxing part of the qualifying session. We've got 12 minutes to go, so drivers will have enough time for another 2 laps. Just wait for everyone to filter back into the pits. I don't think anyone's on a lap. So let's take this opportunity to have a look at driver standings for Tier 2. Here we go. So we've got Heroes currently leading the championship on 221 points. Batemate currently second with 212 points. Wingman is third with 155 points. Combat Rat fourth with 132. And Quantum Effect is fifth with 123 points. So it's pretty tight for the lead of the Tier 2 championship. So it can't be decided tonight. So that'll continue on for at least the next race or 2. And Wingman's starting to stretch his wings a little bit, pun intended, away from Combat Rat. So he's 23 points clear now in P3. But battle for P4 is pretty tight at the moment. I think there's a couple of drivers just beneath that as well that are pretty close behind. We do have a Ferrari that's on a lap at the moment. And I think it's the other one of Saxa. He's currently on a lap. So we're going to jump on board with him and see what the Ferrari driver can do.
Hey, you hope for championship purposes it goes to the final round.
Yeah,
You
it'd be
hope.
nice. So the final round this season is going to be Brazil. So at the start of the season, all drivers voted for their favourite tracks to least favourite, with a special option for voting for Brazil as the final race, as traditionally it was a few years ago in Formula 1 in real life. So we've got, I think, China's next, and then I think we've got Abu Dhabi, Vietnam, and then the finale at Brazil. So not long to go at all. And hopefully this Tier 2 battle goes right to the wire.
And then we might get an exciting race like last season for that Tier 1 had.
Yeah, it was absolutely nuts. We had action all the way through the field. It was great to see as Saxon Hill losing the rear there through this little twisty section. Very awkward to go through. The corner basically off camber, so you've got to really fight the roll of the car. Just constantly trying to throw the back end out. It was Saxa's wheel spin, a bit of a tank slapper. Comes across the line, P9 with 131.693. So we've got an undercut as well for Haas on a flying lap going through the horseshoe of turn 3. So let's jump on board with him for this lap. Pretty tidy lap so far from the Haas driver. A little bit of traffic though to negotiate a few mobile chicanes. They impeded him that much at all. This comes into the third sector. Really awkward left-hander here. Forces the car right out wide onto that rumble strip, and it's very easy to unsettle the car there. Got a racing point there in a really awkward spot. That would have been very distracting. Coming around the final corner now, onto the AstroTurf, and goes P2, 130.471, but Hero had 7/10 of a second cleared everyone else. Jump on board with Hero at the moment. He's coming around to the second last corner. See how he goes. And across the line he goes. 10th and a half quicker, 129.6, so he's over 8/10 clear now. Jump on board with Wingman and the McLaren. It's in sector 2.
I would point out evolution at this track, it's not really there. You don't gain much from it. So he probably can go, I don't know, 1/10 quicker by the end of the session.
Yeah, there's not a lot of grip at the Sochi track at the best of times anyway, so it's always got to be right on the edge at this track. See, McLaren's so easy. Oh, look at the cars all over the track as the McLaren comes through. 13 and 14.
Gotta be distracting. Fair play to get out of the way, but distracting.
And here we go, wingman around the final corner now. Goes P2 with 130.3, but still Hero the only driver to get into the 129s. And jump back to Combat Rat, who's coming in at the end of Sector 1. Nearly loses the rear there through turn 7. Goes on to the Fanatec Bridge. It's like a fairly tidy lap so far from the Racing Point driver. Uses the rev limiter to control the speed of the car through that tight section. Comes around second last corner and then up to the final corner. It's pretty tidy. And goes P2, 130.1. Great lap there from Combat Rat. And we're going to jump further down. Vasa and the Alpha Tauri just getting onto the back straight with the DRS. And he's back right out of this lap, so yeah, 3/10 down on his Delta. I think he's giving up this run. Going to jump the ball with Volcanic in the Ferrari. Sticks to Sector 1, is a 10th down in his current time. Ferrari coming up the second last corner. This is the apex slightly. There's the final corner now. Across the line, 3/10 improvement, goes up to P12, 131.480. We'll go back to Skins in the Renault. At the moment, it's 3/10 up on his time. It's going to put him. Ooh, actually not going to gain any spots at the moment. He's going to have to find some more time in sectors 2 and 3. He's going to move up a spot, currently in 18th place to 132.459. Looks like over ahead the Alpha Tauris are working together to give a bit of a tow.
Keeper jumps up to 12 with his time. 31.4.
31.4, yeah, good time. He was sitting down in P19 before that.
Did run out of VRS at the end of the lap.
And he goes Skins around the last couple of corners. Comes across the line, improved by 1.7 seconds, so it goes up to P6 with the 130.6. So great work there by Skins. Get the car back up into the top 10. Going to jump a wall with Decelerate in the Red Bull. Ooh, he touches the wall a little bit before the back straight. Oh, and he loses the rear, and he's in the wall. And that's going to be front wing damage for sure. Yeah, right end plate has gone. A little bit of the wing element as well is missing. So that's Decelerate's lap done and dusted, I dare say. Let's have a look. Keeper is still pushing, but I suspect he's just doing a bit of practice before he comes to the pits. Volcanic is invalidated and he's lagged into the wall of the pits. That was a weird one. That's looks like he's doing some practice as well with the ERS that low and the fuel indicator light flashing. He's probably not going to complete that lap. And we're just waiting for the rest of the drivers to get ready for their final runs. We've got 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, so it'll be enough time for one out lap and one hot lap for the end of the session.
They do want to get pushing before 2:30 so they can get the tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the Ferraris is going to be across the line first. I think it's Saxo, there we go. So we'll jump on board with him. And go around for the lap with the Ferrari. Through turn one, which isn't really a quarter in these cars. Down to turn two, which is quite challenging if you don't get the initial turning point right. He's got an Alpha Tower on the left-hand side of the road. He's going to compromise his line a little bit as he goes through turn three. He's got a McLaren on the outside of turn three as well, which is going to be a little bit distracting as he comes up to turn four. Flicks the car in, a little bit of a lock up on the front right and a big wobble in the rear, and he's actually had to correct it, and that's forced him into the outstroke turf and is invalidating his lap time. It's unfortunate for him there not to get that completed. I think his teammate was on an out lap. I'm not sure who else is on a fly. I think, there we go, we've got Addy who's coming through turn 3 at the moment. And the Alfa Romeo currently in P7. Addy, that's across the line to start sector 3, currently 2 tenths up. It's going to put him just in front of Skins in P6. Maybe even moves to Spicer in P5. Let's see how he goes to this final sector. Pretty tidy lap so far. Oh, he turned in a little bit early there. You can see he had to have a couple of fights in the corner before he got it right. He's about to get impeded by the racing point here into the second last corner. I think it's either desync or just someone absolutely sleeping. I think that was Combat Rat, and I think that was actually legit. He was just caught napping there, and he's completely bottled his preparation now, so he's ruined Addy's lap, and I think he's compromised the start of his own lap. So that's yeah, really unfortunate there for Addy, but Combat Rat,
it's gonna be looked at.
Disappointing. That will definitely be looked at by the stewards post race.
I will be not happy about that one.
No, definitely not.
Psycho going to be the first one across the line to set a new time.
Oh, and Combat Rat has validated. He's cut the chicane, or cut the corner.
Israeli has just retired on track.
Wingman is doing pretty well at the moment.
So Psycho improved to 8th place on his lap. This was stated in his Ollie's currently up on his time, goes to 8th. It's Psycho down.
Wingman improves by a 10th, but doesn't gain any places, still in P3.
Quantum goes a bit wide on the exit and spins across the track.
Heroes is coming through the last couple of corners now as well. Currently pole position with 129.6. He's half a second clear of the rest of the field. And he's invalidated the second exit of the second last corner, so that's him done. Combat Rat has invalidated as well. Going to jump aboard with Andercat, who loses the rear at the final corner. Comes across the line.
A lot of people losing in the rear there.
Yeah, apparently it is a little bit quicker on your final run to lose the rear at the final corner. And I think that's everyone. Addy's coming to the pits. And I'm just going to wait for him, Combat, and Nemo to retire. And that's it. So that's your grid. Hero, pole position with 129.6. Absolutely dominant. Combat Rat second place at 130.1. Wingman just behind him as well in P3. We then got Andercat P4 with a 130.406. Batemate 5th with a 418. Mr. Spicer, his teammate alongside him on the 3rd row, the 130.614. Skins P7, 130.6 as well. Quantum P8 with another 30.6. Then got Ali and Saka rounding out our top 10 with 130.7s. Got Addy P11 after getting impeded on his final run. We'll be pretty upset with that because the alternate strategy is not that great compared to the primary strategy. So the real advantage is starting in P11. So be pretty upset with that. And Bandcamp P12 as well. So good effort from him. I believe he's not using Racing Line this season. So good to see him pretty solidly in the midfield. Got Nemo as well, P13, Keeper 14th, and we've got Volcanic in 15th, Vassar 16th, Saxa 17th, and Decelerate, Anarchy, and Nut. Big L in the chat, fun fact, Ali is his brother. Yes, and congratulations on your race win a bit earlier this evening. 2 on the trot as well, back-to-back wins, France and Russia. So we've got 2.9 seconds covering the whole grid here in Tier 2, 1 second covering the top 7 or 8, roughly. Just got a few seconds to go until we'll be loading into the race session. Here we go. So it'll be a few seconds while the drivers confirm their strategies and fuel loads. Big Al, no luck involved there. You were patient. Stephen Bradbury just waited your time and sent it at the right moment. So it takes a lot of skill to do that. And no penalties either. So kept it clean as well as fast. So good job there. And here we go. So we got in the Tier 2 chat as well, Mikhail apologising from combat to Addy. He didn't realise he was on a lap before impeding that one, but I'm sure that'll still go to the stewards anyway.
No doubt.
Alright, well we wait for it to load up again. Here are the championship standings. So Hero again, still P1, so 221 points. Batemate second, 212, Wingman. Good qualifying today, so he's furthered his chance of gaining some more points here as well with 155. Combat Rat though, P2, very well placed to improve those points there with 132 points he's currently on. Quantum Effect a little bit further down the order as well with 123 points. And here we go, drivers on their formation lap, so everyone in the top 10 on the soft tyre. We've only got Nemo, Keeper and Anarchy outside the top 10 on the softs, but everyone else going for the ultimate strategy on the medium, so interesting one there. I think it worked out reasonably well for Potsy and Pacey in the Tier 1 race a little bit earlier, but everyone else who was on the medium tyre at the start couldn't quite make their way back through the field like Potsy and Pacey could, so I don't know if it's going to work out for everyone, but we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, so I've got a few people in the chat that I have to thank for the follows for the whole thing. What have we got? So we've got Barud Khan, thank you for following. Same to you, Scott Boreros. Thank you, Zimhax as well. We've got AH Zeus, we've got C Batman. And we've also got Australian Aviator as well. Thank you for the follows. Well, thank you for the follow as well, Chris56 and Tensor21. So just coming around the last couple of corners, getting ready to grid up on the pit straight. We'll be underway in just a moment. Thanks, said Luke Amazing One for the follow as well. Alrighty, drivers forming up on the grids. The lights come on any second now. And here we go, lights coming on, engines are revving. And we're away.
Oh, someone's got to drive through. Keepers on drive through already.
Keepers jump the start. At the moment, Hero under pressure from combat round. We've got Wingman around the outside as well. They're going almost 4 wide at the front. Got
they're trying
on the inside. What's going to happen here? Oh, 3 wide into turn 1. This is going to go well. We've got the McLaren around. Yeah, Wingman's gone around. Luckily, he's ghosted. We've got someone going through the runoff chicane as well. I'm not sure if he got any damage, but that was 3 wide going into turn 2. It's never going to work at all. You can hardly even fit 1 car through there without getting it off track. So, yeah, pretty scrappy up the front. Let's see the McLaren there of Quantum Effect. Going to go down the inside of the Alfa Romeo. We've got the Ferrari of Volcanic, I think, is laggy all over the show, so hopefully he's not going to get in anyone's way.
So, Wingman, no damage to his wing. So he can keep going on those softs.
Or Ferrari, yeah, Volcanic is lagging all over the place, so he's going to have to get that into that lift out, I think, for 3 races again. Nut, in the meantime, has managed to move up on him as well. Quantum Effect into the points. And looks like Combat Rat and Psycho exchanging positions as well. Combat in a lot of places since the start of the race. He got caught out in that collision at turn 2. Just dropped down the grid.
Wingman's going to have to pull a masterclass comeback drive for
all the way back a bit in the grid. As to say, his front wing looks like it's intact, but yeah, Trent in the chat saying the guy on the inside should have pulled out, and I agree. Oh, so we've got the Alpha Tower, gone round, and the McLaren, the other McLaren of Quantum Effect's got damage as well. Oh, it just came on board there, the final corner. They tried to go for a pass, and it looked like Quantum Effect and Nemo there.
We just got carnage.
Oh, yeah, the Quantum Effect's missing his left end play. We've got Alfa Romeo going down the inside.
Was that Nemo?
I think that was Nemo doing a massive dive down the inside of turn 2.
Not the best of moves with some wing damage.
And some of the cars have ghosted as well. I'm not sure what's going on there. And of course, the grid goes cactus as well. Thanks to
Addy also holding damage as well. And he's on the medium tyre. Oh, he's taking out Keeper, I think. Keeper's in the wall.
Whoa. No, Keeper just teleported back onto the track, so I think his internet might be a bit cactus.
Oh, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, that's weird. This lobby seems to not be in the greatest condition, but yeah, something definitely happened to Keeper.
It's a reset, basically a reset the track. I wasn't.
In the meantime, out the front, Hero's pulled out a second already on Baitmate. Just going to jump a little further back. Addy's made the move on Quantum Effect for P11. And Quantum Effect does have that missing left end plate. He's going to have to come to the pits at the end of this lap. You're not going to want to drive around here. Russia was the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari nearly lose the rear. Oh, is Addy really struggling here? Yeah, we see Quantum Effect peeling off into the pits now. Addy's still missing that end plate and he hasn't pit, so surprising there. It's not going to be fun driving around here with lots of medium to high speed corners that really don't like any sort of wing damage.
Now we see Quantum in the pits to get that damage repaired.
Yeah, both McLaren's into the pits by the end of lap 2. This is not a great start for them at all.
Nah, Wingman didn't go in.
Oh, Bandcamp is out. Bandcamp is out. Where?
That's the time on track.
Ooh, that's odd. From Bands.
Interesting. Never seen that before.
Yeah, it's turn 2. That's odd. So yeah, obviously we're not allowed to retire on track at AFR because it can bring out the safety car. So yeah, to see his dot still moving, that was very odd. So I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that after the race. Of course. Jump up, Ali under a lot of pressure from Mr. Spicer.
Oh, Ando getting in there as well. Going around the outside.
Mr. Spicer's used up all of his ERS deployment already this lap, so he's got no charge at all. We've got Mercedes off in the final sector. I'm not sure what happened there.
Keeper went off. I think he outbroke himself. Ollie got an extremely defensive weaving, trying to break that toe. DRS quite powerful on this track. And I gone super aggressive on that inside line.
Trying it around the outside of the Red Bull.
Got that.
2 by 2. This is going to end well.
Someone's got to have a crash here. Combat going around the outside now. Oh, he goes off track. Oh, no, a good corner goes side by side for Ando.
Yeah, Ando backs it out a little bit. I think he realised that Mr. Spice was going to give him room.
Ollie doing extremely well to hold that. But he is low on EOS, so Combat's going to have him at some point. Again, this is getting up in here as well. It makes 2 overtakes in 2 corners.
And Wingman making his way back up to P11 as well. Further back. Well, the gap in the lead. Hero now 3.5 seconds clear of Batemate. And Batemate 4.5 seconds clear of Ali, so race leaders have absolutely bolted. Now Combat Rat having a good look at Ali. Gets the move done pretty early in the DRS straight as well. He immediately does a bit of a weave to try and break the toe. Manages to hold on to P3, going to jump a little bit further back as Nemo makes a move on Saxa. Gets it comfortably done as well. Sector 3 yellow flag. Mercedes of Keeper again, and a little bit of trouble there. Sector 3.
Keeper not having the best of days.
No, looks like his tyres are probably cooked. But the Ferrari Volcanic goes for a big dive on the Red Bull into turn 4. Gets it done pretty comfortably. I think the Zello recognised he wasn't going to come out the other side of that corner if he held his line. Yeah, Keeper's coming into the pits, chucked on the mediums already. Probably a bit early. I don't think they'll make the rest of the race, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
They can. Mias can go from that 3.
Oh, Volcanic hits the wall there. In the entrance to the corner. I'm not sure if that's just lag or if
I think it was lag. I think some people are not confident in overtaking them at this point.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to pass someone where you don't exactly know where they are on the grid. As we see our lead defending from Skins, who's got through on the outside of the track and run into turn 2. Used up a fair chunk of his ERS though to get the move done, so I imagine he's going to be in a great position on the back straight. Back a little further, Volcanic has actually cut the second corner there. As Addy tried to pass him on the inside. There's Ferrari clipping all over the place. It's going to be, like I said just before, a comfortable pass.
Addy won't. Addy not in the best situation. I'm missing his end plate.
Absolutely.
So that
bit of a train forming behind him as well. He's going down the inside of the Ferrari now, and he gets the move done, but the Ferrari hits the back of him and runs very wide now.
Gets overtaken by Nut.
Yeah, he's lost a few spots there. Has the Ferrari. And now he's got the AlphaTauri on his outside as well, which becomes inside for the next corner. And sure enough, he loses another spot. He's lost like 5 places in the span of 2 corners. And now he's going to be under pressure from Anarchy as well. And he's just flagging all over the place. And
you can't really tell where he is.
I would not like to be Vasa right now.
Seen that behind you. Oh, he's landed back in the Anarchy.
Yeah, and Anarchy gets the move done as well. So probably for the best that they've got through with that lag car hanging around.
It's not the end. He's still got... Oh, no, he's got damage.
The old Decelerate's got past Nut, moved up to P13.
Oh, he's hit the wall as well.
And I'm just going to jump up Mr. Spicer, making a move on Ali, if I can press the right button. And there he goes, up to P5. So Ali going backwards at the moment. I wonder if he's struggling on those soft tyres. I mean, 7 laps old, so a few more laps to stretch him out before chucking on the mediums. But he's coming back at Mr. Spicer.
I say Volcanic might just be done for unsafe pit entry. Because he outbraked himself in the pit entry line.
Was Mr. Spicer going wheel to wheel through sector 2. Red Bull's got the inside line though. Williams should yield, but no, they're still going side to side. Ali very respectful, giving him plenty of room on the outside of the corner there, but Williams forcing its way through the next corner, and now Andercat wants in on this fight as well, thinking about going down the inside before the back straight, but I wonder if Ali's just tactically waited for the DRS trying to get past Mr. Spicer again. They've dropped out of Skins' range by 2.5 seconds, so yeah, Ali
if these guys aren't careful, Ando can take both of them. He's got the most EOS out of both.
Absolutely, and we saw Big Al do that to good effect in the Tier 1 race earlier, just waited for the right moment. The two cars in front tripped over each other and he just stormed on through and took the race win. We'll jump back to Decelerate and Addy. Decelerate goes through, up into P12. And you see these times have started to blow out a little bit. Mr. Spicer and Andercat, the closest in the top 10 at the moment. You have Nemo closing in on Psycho as well, a little bit further back. Yeah, Hero has absolutely bolted 5.5 seconds clear. Mr. Spicer down the inside of Ali. And now,
he gets done by Ando as well.
Cat's going to go down the inside.
Wide.
He got a mega toe there and goes into turn 2. Oh, so Mr. Spicer has to cut the track. That's forced Andercat out wide, and now Ali's going to come back on the inside. They're almost 3 wide as they go through turn 3.
This is going to be bad.
Be nice at turn 4. The Haas is on the inside. The Williams turns across. And a little bit of a wobble from the Haas, so Andercat's dropped back a little bit again, but Mr. Spicer holds on to that P5, and Ali not too close behind.
Ali basically pushing Mr. Spicer through the corner to get ahead. Psycho and Nemo have caught up to the fight. Wingman might also catch up.
Nice little battle we've got brewing for position 5. Mr. Spicer also has a time penalty of 3 seconds at the moment. And here we go. Looks like Andercat's having a go at Ali. Down the outside of the corner. It's squeezed right up onto the curb. And he does have the inside line for the next corner though. Still side by side as it comes to the off-camber left-hander. The Red Bull going around the outside, which comes the inside for the next corner. And now look at Psycho's right in on this battle as well. He's going to have a look into the final 2 corners. Well, they're darting to the pits, the Red Bull and the Haas. They both decided to peel off at exactly the same time. Nearly had a collision. And Ali
I think Ali looked for undercut, and Endo's just, you're not getting away from me.
Yeah, they both peeled off at the pits at exactly the same time. We also have Combat Rat in the pits up ahead as well. And they'll be chucking onto the medium tyres. It's an easy one stop of this race, so expect them to make it to the end with no dramas at all.
This is the same time some of the Tier 1's guys pitted.
Ooh, as the Red Bull has... Ooh, nearly didn't get back out in front of the Haas there.
That's...
Managed to do it, just.
I wonder if it's still implementing that game. Certain teams being quicker in the pit stops.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It also depends on the clutch point as well, though. If you're not good at releasing the clutch at the right point, you do sit there for an extra fraction of a second, so... Could have been that the Haas is just a little bit quicker at doing that.
Oh, not down the inside at turn 5, I believe that is.
Got a yellow flag as well in sector 3. Looks like Keeper's had a little spin again, but not up into the point, so great effort from him.
Wingman has climbed all the way back to 7th after dropping to 20th.
And Nemo's off at the end of the straight. Nemo has gone straight on.
Has he hit the wall? And he has. That's quite a bit.
Left wing end plate has gone, and he's also missing a fair chunk of that wing element as well. So he'll be peeling off in the pits. At least he hasn't pit yet. Skin speeds into the pits as well.
You don't want that.
But yeah, Nemo, really unfortunate. But also, if he's going to have a crash, may as well do it at this point of the race. Peels off into the pits to get that wing fixed.
Let's keep it leaves. No point staying here.
So meanwhile, Combat Rat has caught a little bit of traffic. He's on the back of Addy, who's still got that wing damage. He's still persisting on the medium tyre. I guess that's the negative side of being on the ultimate strategy at this track. You pick up wing damage, you kind of have to persist, or you have to commit to a 2-stop. So,
or if you spin the car, that will be worse.
Speaking from experience, there, Pepsi.
I caught back up and then I fell back down. This track hates me.
Combat Rat up into P9 now. He's still a couple of seconds off the back of Skins, who's also pit onto the medium tyre. Seems around the corner there. And everyone's kind of out of position at the moment while we wait for the rest of the soft runners to peel off into the pits. We expect that Saxa will be leading this race. Probably after the end of this lap, once the final soft runners come in for their stops. Then Skins is effectively our race leader at the moment, unless Hero's able to get back out of the pits in front. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out.
So Hero's going to get out of here because there's a 36-second gap with Skins.
There we go.
From
so
Hero.
Should have enough of a gap then. As Combat Rat is going for a move on Nut. Pit straight, and there he goes. Meanwhile, thank you, Lord1212 for the follow. Same to you, Bunnings Snags. Do love that my local Bunnings takes card payment now, which is just absolutely amazing for Sausage Sizzle. As we see, Hero and Bankmate have come into the pits, so Mr. Spicer and Wingman staying out.
That's very interesting from those two.
Combat Rat sets the fastest lap of the race with 134.380 on those medium tyres. Ali sizing up Anarchy, going into turn 2. Anarchy on the soft tyre, 10 laps, so he'll be due in very shortly.
Probably this lap, I guess.
Yeah,
Max is 14.
Don't want to stay out on the soft tyres for too long. They do fade pretty quickly, as we saw. Mediums are already quicker.
Except for the end of the race. The only time you can stay out longer is at the end of the race with the low fuel.
Gaps are opening up a little bit at the moment. Ali's the closest battle at the moment on Addy. Is he going to send it around the outside? No, Addy actually covers inside. Oh, this is going to be painful to commentate. Addy versus Ali. As Addy is in front before the DRS detection zone, so Ali should have the DRS on the straight, and he does. So uses his overtake. He should be able to get the move done pretty comfortably. Oh, is Addy doing a bit of blocking on the inside? Strange, given he's not actually racing Ali for position. In the long run of things, they're doing very different strategies.
And I spent on Anarchy.
Yeah, got through as well. So Anarchy on 10-lap holds soft tyres as well, as we see Mr. Spicer and Wingman peel off into the pits, and Hero has in fact taken the lead of the race.
Now let's have a look. How far does Wingman drop? He's right on the back of Bateman after having a spin.
Yeah, well, he pit on lap 1, didn't he, for fresh tyres? Because he had to use broken...
No.
No? I thought Michael Clarence came into the pits.
Nah.
Okay.
I think you're daydreaming.
Probably. It's been a long day. There we go, so...
Well, it comes out straight ahead, or it has a bit of...
Yeah, and the cat around the outside of Wingman. He's on those fresh tyres, as we were just saying, but... You see Handicat with the extra grips. Tyres are a little bit warmer, so they're fired up and ready to go. And the cat takes the final points paying position. Wingman, yeah, not too out of it being P11, but Quantum Effect way down to 17th on the hard tyre.
Now, what was it? This was about for 5th?
Addy does still have wing damage. Yeah, he got that damage in the opening laps and decided to stay out and make the one-stop work.
He got the damage with Quantum on lap 1 at the end.
Yeah, I believe it was the final corner. They were side by side. One of them lost it, and I think Quantum Effect drove into the side of him because he had nowhere to go. So, unfortunate. Quantum opted to... What will be interesting is if Addy pits for the softs and stays out with his wing damage, will he come out behind Quantum Effect? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, he will. He's going to come out behind him because... What's it? 22-second pit lane?
Yeah, something like that. We got a sector 2.
Quantum is like 13 seconds behind Addy.
Here we go, Anarchy peeling off of the pits, been on the soft for 11 laps, so got time to come in and get some fresh rubber. There we go, Mr. Spicer making a move on Nuts. Actually, Mr. Spicer just came out of the pits. So he's come out just in front of Nut there, who's been on his medium since 12 laps.
Nah, he made a move on Nut.
So he's showing us 0 laps for me.
Yeah, because that was his out lap, it doesn't count, apparently, as one.
Okay.
The game's weird. So the out lap, apparently it doesn't want to count your out lap as an actual lap. Because technically you don't do the lap.
No worries. Alright, so we've got a nice little train forming here behind Mr. Spicer. Nuts just outside the DRS range now, but he's got Ali, Andercat and Wingman behind him. A little bit further up, we've got Skins on the back of Decelerate. He's going to have a go on the Red Bull. Very comfortably got past him there. Decelerate yet to pit, hit on those mediums for 12 laps.
The Skins in a bit of trouble with
P4.
no ERS.
Yeah, he has cleared Decelerate though, so I think he should break the toe, if not this next lap, or the one after. And Ali gets past Nut, moves up to P8, but Nut coming back at him around the outside. Mercedes driver doesn't want to give up this position
This
too
is
easily.
not what Ollie wants.
No, he's caught nothing but traffic since he's been in the pits, and now if we have a look a little bit further back, Andercat as well, battling with Wingman, P10.
Batemate makes a move.
Saxa loses a place to Batemate, who goes back up to P2, and Combat Rat on Decelerate as well.
It's just down the straight. Decelerate was left in the mud. No ERS, couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Nut going defensive against Andercat on the pit straight. And look at them.
Oh, Wingman.
McLaren of Wingman swoops it down the inside. And he's
the
having
move.
flashbacks flashbacks to lap 1, but
he gave up. He didn't want to do that.
Wisely just backed out, I think. So stays P11, but he's very close.
If he doesn't make the move,
he's going to go around the
outside.
outside. Nut gives him a little bit of space, but very unconventional way to get past someone there.
He needs to get past or he loses DRS to Ando.
Yeah, absolutely. Nut is starting to hold up in McLaren. He might go down the inside here. Oh, not quite. I'm just going to wait till the back straight to get it done.
Wouldn't happen if I engineered.
Meanwhile, Andercat and Ali have swapped positions. We've got an Alfa Romeo around. Looks like Addy has had a spin and he's lost even more of his wing, I believe. Has he? No, same amount as before.
Same amount as before. I think he spun it on the curb that sticks out.
So Keeper, I think I'm not sure if he had contact or something with Volcanic on the first or second lap. It looked like he went straight on into the wall, but I couldn't tell if it was desync or not. But he had a few spins after that, and I think he's just left the session because he was a fair way down the order after that.
Alright, so you missed it, but Ando's going past Ollie.
Go, P8.
And Wingman got past Nut and didn't lose DRS.
Oh, that's right, and yeah, Keeper jumped the start and had a drive through. So yeah,
he had all the stuff going wrong.
Yeah, did not have a good race at all for Keeper, unfortunately.
He's going to give us an excuse, my clutch didn't work.
Bandy Camp, he apparently had no force feedback, so his wheel had no key bindings or anything. I'm not actually sure what happened, if he had control at all and if his AI just binned it or not, but we'll have to have a look at that after the race.
Yeah, here's what he said in the chat. No force feedback, no control bindings, and because he had no one behind him at the time, he just retired. Because apparently all of his bindings disappeared on him, which is very unusual. I think the only time that happens is when the game does a full reset.
Yeah, there are a few drivers who use the pad. I think most drivers use the wheel, but we have a couple who are on pad. Yeah, I'm not sure off the top of my head who does. I think in Tier 1 combined YouTuber is on the pad. I think Mikau is as well.
Yeah, Mikau's been on the pad.
But yeah, I'm not sure who else is. Skins gets past Vasa, so does Combat Rat. Tries to follow.
Oh, someone
has to back out.
Volcanic had a spin at turn 2. I don't even know if he had a spin or not. He's just lagging over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's just glad that he's ghosted now. Yeah, Hero absolutely the quickest we see. Wingman and Ali going side by side through turn 3. And Wingman, I think, has just been able to sneak through. Ali not quite got the pace to get back in front. But yeah, Hero is absolutely bolted. 10.8 second lead now, nearly 11 seconds.
No doubt Hero gets put in tier 1 next season. No doubt, in my mind.
Yeah, so at the moment it's looking like the top 2 drivers from tier 2 will go up to tier 1, and bottom 2 from tier 1 will come down to tier 2. See the Ferrari of Volcanic having a little bit of a spin there on the back straight again. But yeah, so that will mean Hero and Baitmate, because they're currently the leaders of the championship. So pretty close battle that they've got. So we'll see how that pans out in the next few races. So the Combat Rat very close to the back of Saxa, P5. Saxa peels off into the pit, so we'll start to see the medium runners from the start of the race coming in for their mandatory stop any second now. Got another yellow flag in sector 3. Looks like the Ferrari again having a bit of trouble.
So Addy, he came to pits and repaired his wing, thank God.
But all the midfield runners are going to be pretty happy with that. They've lost a lot of time getting stuck behind him. Because while he's going to be slow in the corners, he's going to be pretty quick on the straights.
He's nowhere to be seen. One of the Ferraris had a spin. Volcanics had a spin last sector.
Yeah, I think he needs to get off those tyres. They're going to be pretty cooked.
And it's a new set of softs. That was interesting.
So we've got a nice little battle brewing for P6 at the moment. Andercat holding off Wingman and Ali.
Ali falling back. He's actually going to lose DRS.
Yeah, have a look at the positions gained. Ali has actually made up 1 net position, but Nut up 11 places since the start. Hero holding position, Baitman up 3, Skins up 4, Combat down 2, Mr. Spicer up 1, Andercat down 2, Wingman down 4, Ali up 1, Nut up 11, Nemo up 3, Sax up 6, but big losers are Quantum Effect down 4, Sucker down 4, Addy down 6, Keeper down 4, Volcanic down 4, and Bandcamp down 8.
Well, Nut has nothing I'm going for him. He doesn't have me as a teammate to put him in a wall.
Absolutely. As we see, oh, we got a virtual safety car.
We had this. We had 2 for tier 1, and I didn't even know what it was for.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure either.
One was Smitty. I know that, sure.
Yes, yeah, one was Smitty crashing out. I'm not sure what the other one was for. I'm not sure what this one is for either.
It might be the wing damage.
Possibly. I'm not sure if Volcanic had another spin. I saw a yellow flag pop up in one of the sectors. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a bit of desync, and maybe his AI is causing some issues.
Nut has taken this opportunity of pit.
Yeah, this is great for Nut, as Volcanic's actually retired from the session, so he's finally binned it.
I think he's hit the wall under VSC.
Yes, he has. So at least it's not going to bring out another safety car or anything. We'll jump on board with the Williams of, is that Baitmate or is that Mr. Spicer? There we go. On board with Mr. Spicer. We'll probably see it as we come through the corner. There he is. So he's missing both his rear tyres, so that's probably gone in backwards. Or a bit of artifacting.
Quantum's came. So Addy's got to drive through.
Penalty of speeding under the safety car.
I think he wants to leave now.
Yeah.
Addy's not had the best days. I think his last race was Mexico, and that wasn't that good either. But not in 12 after taking a VSC pit stop.
Yeah, it's a pretty good position for Nut. From where he started, he's in a great spot. Fresh tyres, he's got clean air, 10 seconds in front, 7 seconds behind. He's in a good spot here. He might be able to get back into the points if he's lucky. So, let's see how it pans out. Got another yellow flag. It's the Alfa Romeo of Addy, I believe, has had a bit of a spin in sector 2.
Yep, he's full on the
I've got a little
backwards
battle with Nemo and Saxa. P9.
Let's have a look. Wingman able to make a move on Andor. He's actually going around the
He's
outside.
going to go around the outside, yeah, into turn 2.
Oh, space given. He has to cut the corner.
He has to. He'll picked up a warning for that. He still hasn't got a penalty, so he'd be on his probably final chance now. I wouldn't think he'd be able to get away with another one. He manages to move up to P6, a little bit further back. We've got Saxa has got past Nemo as well, up into P9. And Nemo's starting to go backwards. I think he will actually be quite vulnerable to Decelerate and Nut as well, both on fresh soft tyres. Nemo's mediums are only going to get worse from here. Further back, we've got Quantum Effect making the move on Anarchy. Quantum Effect, especially after that damage earlier on in the race, is all the way down to P14. Is he going to do well for his championship hopes? So Anacat's dropped out of DRS range wingman now. He's falling into the back of Ali, who's making a little bit of a comeback now. I think he's probably...
Addy has decided to leave.
Oh, a bit of a battle between Quantum Effect and Psycho for 13th place. Quantum gains a position at the end of the back straight. He did bang tyres as well as they went under the Fanatec bridge. No harm done.
Oh,
made it
it's a
through.
wingman with 3-second penalty. That's a very interesting spot he's picked up that warning as well. He picked up in the horseshoe.
Ah, yeah, just cutting the inside too much.
Probably. I wasn't looking, but I think
I've done that before as well. You just hug the line too tight and you end up crossing all 4 tyres across.
He was building a gap on Ando though, with his tyre. Well, his tyres are newer.
Decelerate gets past Nemo, who ran a bit deep into turn 5. Pretty shocking exit coming off the AstroTurf, and Decelerate moves into the points now, P10. So now with Ali, who's not really making much ground on Andercat at the moment. He's sort of staying with him, about half a second behind, but not quite close enough to make a move. Both on the medium tyre, pitting at the same lap.
Quite funny to be fair. I think they both wanted to undercut each other.
Ali doing very consistent laps, just a 10th of a second off his previous fastest lap.
So combat and skins. This is going to be interesting. For third. Skins holding the penalty though.
Yeah, it's the one flaw that Skins has in his repertoire is that he's very, very quick, but just he's not quite consistent enough with his track limits. Does tend to rack up a few penalties in the races, and it's cost him quite a few points over the course of this season and last season as well. So hopefully that's a part of his racecraft that he can just improve a little bit. So he'll be able to keep a lot of the positions that he's won, and then start to make some as well. I think in front of him have picked up some penalties as well.
Alright, at the moment, Combat has bragging rights, he has no penalty.
So Ali at the moment still just around that half-second point behind Anacat. Not really closing the gap at the moment. Apart from Combat Rat closing in on Skins. This is the closest battle we've got on track at the moment.
After, I think Ollie's second place of France is going to him. He did to get... Ollie's actually very close to Ando.
really close in after that DRS straight. Not quite close enough to make a move yet, but
surprising, these two don't have a pen after I see how wide they're going off exits. Quite interesting. Ollie being very conservative on his track limits compared to Ando, who's just running as wide as he can without getting a warning.
yeah, Ollie's really putting the pressure on this lap. He's
Ooh,
kept the gap beneath half a second.
I think he got a bit of an oversteer through that corner.
Yeah, you're right. He's just lost a couple of tenths there. It's a real shame. It looked like he was close enough that he might be able to mount an attack going into turn 2. He's just dropped off a little bit.
Combat's still not able to do anything against Skins either.
Yeah, he lost a bit of time that lap. He nearly blew out to a second, but he's closed it in a bit.
Here comes Ollie. Let's see if he's able to do it. No, he doesn't. It's not gaining that quick. Very interesting the lines that these two take in that horseshoe. Ando likes to go wide and then Ollie just hugs it.
Ooh, as Ali loses the rear a little bit on the exit curb there of turn 5. Yeah, I imagine keeping it tight is going to put a little bit more load on that front right. But I think taking that wider line just means you can preserve a little bit of the tyre, but it's going to be a little bit slower as well. So Ali, slipstream, DRS, quite close enough to get anything done this lap.
I think Combats might be able to do something. It's very close back of Skins. Down to 4.5 tenths.
There we go. It's a bit better from Ali through there. He's kept the gap under half a second.
Yeah, Combat just not doing any overtake. He knows Skins has a penalty. There's no point.
There we go. Ali has a pretty good exit out of the final corner. His delta's coming down before the DRS zone. Is he going to be able to do it though? I think Andicat's actually using some of his DRS to stay in front.
None of them were.
Okay. I wonder if Andicat's using a little bit less wing than the Red Bull. Keeping an eye for the back. Zelrate closing in on the back of Saxa as well. Thank you for the follow, Spexflixnlixka. I'm not quite sure how that's pronounced, but thank you for the follow nonetheless. Ali closing the gap, but just not quickly enough to make a move. He has a good look at the inside, bit of a lock-up as well. I'm not sure if Andicat was spooked a bit by that, but he seems to twitch as the Red Bull got ever larger in his right mirror.
You never want to see a car lock up and come straight for you.
Absolutely not. He's a lot closer than he has been the last few laps now, so I think he's sizing him up for a move, but he does have a lock-up and he runs a bit deep. And
it's ruined it.
Oh, the
He's
gap.
done it again.
The gap's blown out to nearly 7.5 tenths now. And just as we thought something was about to happen, it's not. This is one of the downsides of Russia. Unfortunately, they're not all like the Tier 1 race we saw before.
Davis' brother's not going to be happy with that one. Big Al will be on the radio.
Yeah, Red Bull's really struggling now. He's losing the rear a few times now through that same corner. So jump back with Vasso, who's having a good look at Psycho through turn 3. Psycho covers off the inside of turn 4, so it's not going to happen this lap. And Combat Rat has made a mistake. I think he's lost a second off the back of Skins. Has he got any damage? No, just I think he's had a big moment there. He's lost over a second to Skins. He's well outside the DRS range now, so he's going to struggle to close that back up. Meanwhile, Ali,
Ali's made that gap.
This time, the gap looks pretty good, but is he going to keep it together?
He's got one lap.
Corners?
It's one lap.
I think we've got 2, because I think it updates when the race leader goes through. So we do have 2 laps remaining after this one. And I think Ali has had a pretty decent run this time.
No, he's too far back.
Well, look how much quicker Handicap is in a straight line. Until Ali gets DRS, Handicap just keeps pulling away. So I wonder if his setup's got less aero.
And Wingman, 1.1 away from Mr. Spice, so both of them holding penalty. I think it's the same penalty as well. It is. And Skins has that 5-second penalty for speeding.
Just going to jump back to Vasa, who's closing in on the back of Psycho for P14. And he's using every little drop of his ERS, I should say. And he's not quite got the speed again. He gets very close, but not quite close enough to make the move. He's going to try around the outside of turn 3. No, he's just a little bit too far back. And meanwhile, Hero's lead is 20 seconds now.
Blue Man has caught up to back of Mr. Spicer.
There he goes. Hero started the final lap. In fact, he's almost at the end of sector 1 on the final lap, so we'll keep with him in a moment. Just going to keep an eye on this little battle between Wingman and Mr. Spicer to see.
I want to see Ali. Is he close enough?
Second, I don't think so. It's blowing out as well. I think he's losing the rears too much. He's not quite getting
there. There he goes. He's using overtake.
Here comes Wingman on the inside of Mr. Spicer, and he's got it done. Vasta as well has got through on Psycho. And I'm just going to have to jump up, and we're going to see Ali. Not quite. And Mr. Spicer and Wingman still going for it. Skins has picked up another penalty as well, so
that's 8 seconds. If Wingman can close that down to 6 seconds, I think he can.
Don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's a little bit too far back.
Oh, he does a penalty as well for that.
And here we go. Hero coming around the last couple of corners.
With stupid.
Absolutely dominant win. Dominant win. Goes across the line, little flick spin. And a very comfortable victory for the Haas driver.
Oh, it's Mr. Spicer picks up another penalty. I think that's 6 seconds.
There we go, Baitmate about to come across the line as well. P2,
Ollie had a
drive.
Ollie had a go at Ando, wasn't quite enough.
He's going to try around the outside. Oh, this is not a conventional passing place, but he's done it. He's done it. Ali has got past in sector 3.
Get in there.
Moves up to P7.
Oh, Ed, I was looking.
Great move by Ali. And Andercat has to settle for P8. That was a very well-timed move by Ali. And well done to go up to P7.
Get in there, Ali.
Satsu comes across the line in P9. Decelerate goes in P10, but jumps up to P9 on penalties. Now finding Nemo down in 11th place, and he'll come around the final corner now, and he'll hold that P11. He's about 8.5 seconds back, so even with the penalty, I don't think that'll be able to move up into P11 as we see the McLaren of Quantum Effect run out so wide of that final corner. Managed to stay on the track though and not into the wall. Vasa comes across the line in P14, followed by Psycho, who jumps up to P14 on penalties. We've got Anarchy as well in P16, a few seconds back.
Oh, well, that was an interesting race.
And there we go, and actually comes across the line in P16. Driver of the day goes to Decelerate. Pretty solid drive from him. There we go. Hero there doing his little dance. Congratulations on the win. And well done to Baitmate and to Combat Rat rounding out our podium. And there we go. So, top 10, Hero, Baitmate Combat, Skins, Wingman, Mr. Spicer, Ali, Andercat, Decelerate, and Saxa. Outside the top 10 was Nemo, Nut, Quantum Effect, Psycho, Vasa, Anarchy, Addy, Keeper, Volcanic, and Bandcamp unfortunately not finishing the race. Fastest lap of the race was to Addy with a 1:33.3, very quick time there, but unfortunately he didn't stick around for the rest of the race, I don't think. Well done to everyone involved, but especially to Hero, an absolutely dominant drive. Congratulations to him. Now we are off to, I believe, we're at China next week. We are indeed. So we've got China next week on Sunday, 27th of June. So we'll be back here from 7 PM Melbourne time for that. We also have, I think we might be doing Formula 2s again on Friday night, so make sure you tune in for that from 8:30 PM Melbourne time.
No, we go until the end of, or until the new game comes out.
What are we doing?
Italy.
Oh no, we're doing 2004 cars. Cool. We didn't know if we were doing Formula 2. So yeah, so we'll be doing a 2004 Ferrari next Friday, and we will be having Chinese Grand Prix after that, then Abu Dhabi, Vietnam, and Brazil. So we will be done in less than a month, and then the new game will be out. So we're all jumping on board with that before we come back for Season 7. So thank you again, once again, for your company. I've been Gus Rules. Thank you to Apollo Pepsi for joining me for Tier 2 commentary. Thank you to Seb for Tier 1 commentary. Hope you enjoyed your evening. We'll see you all next time. See ya.
Goodbye.